Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, Endless Killing. I synthesize the root of all things. Chapter 81. Swish. First, 100 tigers and leopards rushed out from Novice Village number 75, like a bright cyan curve, which attracted the eyes of many candidates, causing bursts of exclamation. Is that an 8.5-star unit? All go, who is the boss? 8.5 stars. Why do all my units only have 3 or 4 stars? This gap is too big. I want to report on the battlefield, someone cheated. Immediately afterwards, Zhao Yun led 200 people and rushed out. The figures of the 200 people were almost so fast that they couldn't see clearly. Because all good fortunes use flash. Although it can only play the role of 5% of the flash, that is, a distance of nearly 200 meters. But that's teleportation, as fast as the wind. Soon Zhao Yun led his army into the border blocked by the chosen ones in Daxia. Lin Jia saw this. Without hesitation, he took out a B-level item and used it. Heaven and Earth Barrier. Wow, a huge film-like barrier enveloped the entire battlefield. It was as if the world had been temporarily covered up. At the same time, it also concealed the prying eyes of several other villages. It was difficult to break through this barrier even with props, let alone ordinary talent. Immediately aroused the scolding of many candidates of other races. Depend on. Is it so expensive? In order to cover the traces of the boss, I even took out a B-level prop. At the same time, other Great Shah candidates also used talent one after another, covering up a series of movements on the battlefield. This is the strategy set by Su Shu. Kill monsters quietly, don't shoot them. At last, only then did Su Shu slowly flash out the good fortune arc, enter the encirclement, and watch the scene in the distance with Lin Jia and others. Right, in the first wave, he came to watch the battle. It's getting closer, Lin Jia murmured. The roars of the beasts in the sky seemed to be right next to their ears, and they can smell the stench of the beasts. And they were even more surprised. Su Shu sent out only 300 troops. Can 300 arms withstand the attack of 10,000 beasts? Many people have this question in their minds. Su Shu laughed. Laugh. Just look at it and you'll know. The next moment, all the good fortunes on the battlefield showed their faces and rode forward impressively on wolves. I rely on it. The selected candidates in Daxia were stunned. What's the situation? So many bosses. Then he quickly looked at Su Shu beside him, feeling confused. What exactly is going on? Why are there hundreds of bosses? Oh my god, I'm not dreaming, am I? Immediately afterwards, the beast tide hit. He simply ignored the small 300 arms in front of him. The Luan bird in the sky looked at the chosen ones of the Great Shah below with a haughty expression, and waved his wings. He ordered his fierce beasts to rush up. Ah! Roar! Hiss! Countless beast cries gathered together to form a loud noise like thunder, which made people feel chills involuntarily. But Su Shu watched this scene calmly. The next moment, everyone was shocked. I saw those 300 good fortune people who were like a flat boat in the sea open the blood of the witch clan at the same time. The body size has increased to 5 meters, and the effect is 5%. Boom! An earthquake-like movement came. Small giants suddenly appeared on the battlefield, crushing the ground, and forcibly blocking the oncoming herd of beasts within their bodies. Then a weakened phantom of the magic knife appeared in the hands of good fortune, and all Su Shu's skills were activated. Earth Body, Heaven and Earth Change, Blade of No Void, Burst Blade, ... Although each skill can only exert 5% of the effect, the combat power is still 9.5 stars, but that is Su Shu's skill. Nowadays, when it comes to the variety of means, Su Shu dares to say that he is second, and no one dares to say that he is the first. Good fortune held magic knives, rode on wolf warriors, and started killing wildly among the herd of beasts. 200 Su Shu. Even Su Shu, who only has 5% skill strength, is not easy to deal with. Swish. The first wave of shock from the herd was instantly blocked, and blood quickly gushed out into a big river. Baikyu Library. When Zhao Yun saw this scene, his eyes suddenly widened. This moment, only then did he know what it means to be in the face of absolute strength. There is no need to command at all. 200. Su Shu's incarnation blocked the army of tens of thousands of beasts. The selected candidates of Daxia even opened their mouths wide open, looking at the scene before them in disbelief. I am not wrong, right? Is this real? Could it be that the boss really has 200 clones? No, it should be that the boss is too strong. We can't see the strength of the avatar at all. They are stronger than us anyway. Horror. It's just too scary. This first wave of attacking the boss doesn't intend to perform alone, does he? Ah, it seems that the boss doesn't need us at all. ... Swish. Among the beast horde, even a golden eagle beast with 8-star combat power is the target of massacre in front of the good fortune crowd, without the slightest resistance at all. Tens of thousands of ferocious beasts quickly lost thousands of heads. Su Shu also heard the sound of the battlefield notification. Ding, you gain experience. Ding, you gain experience. Ding, you have reached level 13. What? Su Shu felt relieved. Although these ferocious beasts are generally weaker than themselves and have not gained kill points, the experience points alone are too cool. You must know that his current attribute growth rate is already very high. Every leader of first level can bring him a 2% increase in all attributes. Yes. Su Shu couldn't help sighing secretly. Every wave of battlefield missions is an opportunity to own. The candidates of Daxia were already shocked. Don't know what to say. Beheaded 1,000 ferocious beasts, 200 good fortunes and still not a single casualty. No way. As long as you get close to the ground, you can restore your body at any time, and there is also a god-level life-saving skill like flashing. These 100 good fortunes are hard to die even if they want to. Su Shu's skills are amazing. When the casualties of the beast army reached 3,000, Luan bird in the sky couldn't bear it anymore. In the eyes of huge birds, a look of intense hatred was revealed. He threw it directly at Su Shu in the crowd. Come on. A chirp sounded with endless anger. The IQ of high-rank beasts may even be higher than that of humans. Of course she can see that this is all caused by Su Shu. Without saying a word, he jumped directly towards the ground. A piece of data immediately appeared in front of Su Shu. Feng Clan Beast Luan Bird Level 17. Power 125. Agility 134. Physique 126. Mental energy 3000. Specialty Show of the Phoenix. The blood is condensed in the two claws, and it is restored to the chicken claws, with the strength of the blood of the phoenix, and any attack increases the lethality by 150%. Skill Fengming Make a chirping sound, reducing all attributes of all targets whose combat power is lower than own by 10%, lasting for 5 minutes. Skill Space Control When fighting in the sky, all attributes are increased by 30%, and the lethality is increased by 30%. Passive skill Prestige Before being attacked, maintain one's own prestige, all attributes increased by 10%. Combat rating 15 stars. Introduction. The descendants of the powerful great saint beasts from ancient times, although they have lost most of their strength due to countless years of blood transmission, are still the absolute kings of beasts and are currently in their infancy. Luan bird. Yo, I didn't expect these claws to come from the blood of true phoenix. Although Su Shu is not a foot controller, but suddenly became enthusiastic about this pair of bird claws. People can, and it's very capable. With this pair of claws in hand, it must be very powerful to synthesize something. The next moment, something that shocked everyone to the extreme in an instant happened. In the sky, the Luan bird with a size of hundreds of meters, like a cloud hanging down from the sky shrouding the heavens covering the sun, was attacking Su Shu. A violent female voice appeared in everyone's heart. Little bug, you have offended the dignity of the great Feng clan. Almost no one can stop this strike. There are already many people planning to block Su Shu's side. Unexpectedly, Su Shu waved his hand impressively, knocking everyone away, and said with a smile, "Little bug." Immediately afterwards, his figure suddenly grew bigger. 1 meter, 2 meters, 3 meters, 10 meters, 20 meters, 50 meters, 100 meters, until 180 meters. Setsuna Room. A monstrous giant with a size comparable to Luan bird suddenly appeared on the battlefield. The breaths of all the great Shah's chosen ones froze. I could only stare blankly at this scene, shocked to the extreme. So big. Boss is so big. It's too big. Is this size serious? Even Luan bird, who was attacking Su Shu in the sky, was stunned. The next moment, snapped! Exclamation mark. It was pinched by Su Shu's neck as if he was grabbing a chicken, and said with a calm smile, "Chicken, who do you call a bug?" You. Luan Bird broke out fiercely and began to struggle desperately. But he found that the giant's palm in front of him was many times stronger than hers, and he couldn't break free at all. And Su Shu didn't play any tricks with this Luan Bird, just put his hands together little by little, making a loud noise. Until it cut her neck off. Click. Luan Bird's eyes widened, his body slowly sank down, and there was an unbelievable shock in his eyes. It originally planned to go to the battlefield to gain military exploits and gain the trust of its father. He actually died here. She is not reconciled. A series of notification sounds instantly came from Su Shu's ears. You killed the princess of the Longevity Kingdom, and the hatred of the Longevity Kingdom towards you +100. King of Beasts with a 20-star combat power and a legendary monster, the hatred towards you +100. Independently kill the creature triggered by the legendary mission. The legendary mission in the Novice Middle Area 1 has been released. Destroy the Kingdom of Beasts. Rewards. Legendary rewards. Novice Central Battlefield Task Release Rights 1. You killed the level 17 Princess Luan Bird, and gained 200 experience points. Leapfrog kills. Gain 50 kill points. A legendary mission again. Su Shu was overjoyed. Seeing the rewards of this legendary mission, he couldn't help becoming even more excited. The bird turned out to be a princess. I killed her by myself and directly activated a legendary mission. And there is a condition that this Central Zone legendary mission 1 must be activated by killing the Luan Bird independently. Isn't this an independent kill? None of the selected candidates in Daxia could get in and see the rewards of this legendary mission. Su Shu's heart couldn't help getting hotter. Not only legends and rewards. And there is also the right to release a novice mid-zone battlefield mission. That is to say, I can issue tasks to all other selected candidates. Well, Su Shu suddenly had 100 tricks in his mind. There must be rules and restrictions on the right to issue missions, and it is impossible for him to directly kill other selected candidates. But with the means of owning, it can also make other selected people want to die. Cool. Su Shu immediately made a decision. This beast must be destroyed. Country. Complete this legendary quest. He wants to be a battlefield and send tasks to others. Baiku Library. At this time, the sound of Good Fortune's crowd killing the herd of beasts continued to come from the outside world. And Good Fortune finally had casualties. 50 Good Fortunes were emptied of mental energy, turned into prototypes and were overwhelmed by the sea of beasts, and died without even being given a chance to recover. The rest of more than 100 Good Fortune people immediately began to leave the battlefield. Swish. A ray of 8 trigrams flashed in the field, and they all returned to the Good Fortune Arc to recover. And the tiger and leopard cavalry led by Zhao Yun immediately stepped up. 10,000 beasts have already died, more than half. Seeing that Princess Luan Bird was killed, they were all heartbroken and their morale was greatly reduced. Su Shu's ears also heard dense beeps, and his experience increased rapidly. This time, the level has risen to level 14. Oh, boring. Su Shu took a few glances and didn't want to look any more. Anyway, after a while everyone in Good Fortune recovers, they will rush out again, Zhao Yun will go down, and the wheel will fight. When the selected candidates of Daxia heard this, they couldn't help but burst into tears. Is this the boring boss? They also have experience standing next to them. If a soldier is not dead, many people break through. Go and come back. Su Shu soon discovered a discordant figure on the battlefield. Go up immediately. With a slap, it landed on that delicate buttocks. Good guy, you dare to sleep on the battlefield. Master, no need. Mei Wuxi was woken up all of a sudden, but leaned on Su Shu lazily and acted like a baby very skillfully. I didn't fall asleep on purpose. This guy was lying on the battlefield to share his experience. At this time, his level had also risen to level 10, and his combat power had skyrocketed to 13 stars. Su shivered in anger. Embracing her delicate body, she waved her palm away and it was a snap. Snapped. Still asleep. I've never seen such a disobedient unit like you. Daddy is going to retire you. I know I was wrong. The lazy witch immediately blinked a pair of watery red pupils, looked at Su Shu with a blushing face, and said with pure lust. Has the master calmed down? Otherwise, you can beat him for a while. If it doesn't work, you can use a whip. I promise not to sleep again. Then hurry up and contribute. Su Shu pointed to the battlefield. Mavis yawned helplessly. A ball of red magic rose up from under him. Slowly flew towards the battlefield. Mavis suddenly landed in the center of the battlefield, like the queen of this world, with a bit of nobility in her laziness. The slender jade fingers pointed down. Dirty beasts, why are you hostile to your master? ... So beautiful, too domineering. All the candidates of the great Shah stared at this scene that captivated all living beings. They are all crazy. It's so beautiful, so handsome. The boss's unit is absolutely amazing. I suddenly wanted to be a beast, to be beaten by such a beautiful unit. What should I do if I want to be scolded by her? Am I a pervert? Don't talk about it, you are all a bunch of old perverts. Do you know that you exposed XP? ... The next moment, I saw Mavis waving his jade hand lightly. Wow, all over the sky Crimson's magical power swept across the battlefield, and the wind was surging, as if the world was about to collapse at this moment. Confess your sins. Her lazy voice carried an unquestionable nobility. Swish. Crimson's magical power poured into every beast in an instant. In just an instant, thousands of ordinary beasts fell into a coma. The other ferocious beasts also felt exhausted, and their movements gradually slowed down. And it's not over yet. Mavis's slender 5 fingers seemed weak, but he grasped them lightly. Swish. A sharp sword composed of tens of thousands of red magic powers fell from the clear sky with tremendous force. Puff. The dense herd was killed by hundreds in an instant. This moment, everyone stayed. My heart was shocked to the extreme. So strong. This is too strong. Big brother, this unit is beautiful and strong. I just don't know what words to use to describe it. Su Shu also coughed a few times. Unexpectedly, she usually looks like a rascal, but her strength is not bad. Mavis flew back after cleaning up, and the queen disappeared immediately. She hugged Su Shu tightly with her hands, rubbing her delicate body. It's too bad, I'm too tired, I need my master to hug and kiss me to recover. ... A black line was drawn across Su Shu's forehead, and you shot for a total of 10 seconds, okay. Lowering his head, he suddenly felt something was wrong. Sure enough, it was found that the witch's sinful claws had stretched where they shouldn't. Snapped. A small hand was picked up by Su Shu. Unexpectedly, a black silk leg opened again. Start rubbing. ? Su Shu raised his eyebrows. Do you want to be spanked? Mavis made a flattering face mixed with uncomfortable flushing, and began to frantically rub Su Shu's side. Master doesn't know, actually, every time our witches make a move, the magic power in the body will be disordered, and a strong force is needed to stabilize it, very strong, very powerful. Oh, you lied. Su Shu exposed the lie on the spot. Can I not see your data? You're just greedy for me. Snapped. Su Shu directly forcibly hugged the princess, and then threw the thing into the good fortune arc, and was going to lock her up in a small house, tie her up, and beat her with a board so that she couldn't be lazy to sleep. Swish. Mavis appeared in the good fortune arc, raised his jade hand, his face was full of anger, the master's fragrance was still there. If such a powerful master can't be eaten, I will definitely be regarded as a witch's shame when the other sluts come. No. Her extremely delicate face quickly showed her fighting spirit. Come on, work hard to get the first bite. ... Immediately afterwards, the good fortune group who had rested came out again. After being controlled by Mavis, the remaining fierce beasts had no strength to resist, and they were all killed on the battlefield soon. With Zhao Yun's use of troops, it is impossible for them to escape. Su Shu looked at the tens of thousands of beast corpses that were filling the battlefield at this time, and his eyes were filled with extreme excitement. A system prompt sounded in my ear soon. Number 75 Novice Village successfully resisted the first wave of shock in the first stage, evaluation, S grade. All staff will be rewarded with B-level Source Fire 1. Contribution. Su Shu 100%. Lin Jia, 0 inches. Lu Feng, 0 inches. Tan Yan, 0 inches. The person with the highest contribution will get A-level Source Fire 1. The beeping continued. Novice village number 475 has passed the first wave of trials, and the strongest person has been appointed as the village head. The appointment of the village chief was successful. The candidate for the village chief, Sushu. Please name this village. Hearing this notification sound, all the candidates of Great Shah became ecstatic. Our village can finally be formally established and have the name of own. Yes, after becoming a novice village, we can say that we are one step ahead of others everywhere, and we will also get collective rewards. Quote, Boss, come up with a name for our village. Now that Sushu has been appointed as the village head, the right to be the place name of the village is of course placed on Sushu. Sushu thought for a moment. He said calmly, let's name it Qianlong Village. I hope everyone can achieve something in the future, and everyone is like a dragon. Everyone was silent for a moment, carefully first rank, and gave Sushu a thumbs up. It is good. Boss is a good name, it's not something ordinary people can name it. From now on, our village will be called Qianlong Village. At the same time, the loud broadcast sound came again. The first novice village has been established. Qianlong Village, the village chief, Sushu. This burst of broadcast immediately made the chat channel feel like throwing a boulder into the calm water. Sushu, isn't that the one who was issued the red hunting order? He actually survived the first trial. It seems that this person is indeed quite remarkable. It's a pity that their novice village's news is too strict. It seems to be very strong, but we can't find out the news. It is said that none of the people who challenged him died. From this point of view, this person is either a holy mother, or the strength is not that strong. Right, ding. The insane chosen ones who are wandering around the deck and say they are right. And give them a thumbs up. After the notification sound came, everyone got their due rewards. The faces of the selected candidates in the Great Shah were filled with ecstasy. In less than half an hour, I followed the boss to watch the battle, and I got a B-level source fire. Baiku Library. Is there anything more enjoyable than following a boss like this? Without further ado, everyone turned around and bowed to Sushu. Thank you boss for cultivating me. Sushu nodded, and waved his hands to silence everyone's cheers. It's okay, we're all brothers. Actually tell the truth, he didn't know that he would get rewards for letting the chosen ones of Daxia watch the battle, he just didn't want them to grab the own monster. Well, it's okay if the result is good anyway. Sushu looked at the bright red crystal in his hand, and couldn't help showing a touch of ecstasy. A-level source fire, high-rank energy crystal. After reaching the A-level source fire, you can see a trace of orange flames wrapped in the red crystal, which is full of high-end feeling. It is also the highest level of energy crystal Sushu has obtained so far. It is a rare treasure in any world. Sushu knows. 1 A-level source fire is equivalent to 100 B-level source fires, and 1 B-level source fire is equivalent to 100 C-level source fires. That is, what I hold in my hand is a full 100 B-level source fires. If Sushu wants to, he can break it down at any time. But Sushu looked at the A-level source fire in his hand, and was silent for a while, then a flash of determination suddenly flashed in his eyes. There was one thing that he cared about more than getting stronger came to his mind. Swish. Sushu slowly took out the half-piece of jade that old man Chen gave him before he left. Remnant jade shone faintly on his face, and one could see that the young man who claimed that everyone in the world could be killed suddenly showed a trace of hesitation, staring blankly at the half-piece of remnant jade, several fragmented thoughts reflected in his mind. Remnants. Sushu only has a second or two of memory fragments about being adopted by old man Chen before he was 3 years old. Over the years, these memories have become increasingly blurred. He only vaguely remembered that there was a woman hugging him in the colorful light all over the sky. Her face was extremely gentle. Of course Sushu knew that old man Chen was hiding something from him, but he could feel the incomparable love and care that old man Chen had for him. From the moment he got the piece of remnant jade, Sushu guessed that there were many secrets hidden in this piece of jade that old man Chen didn't want to tell. Whoosh! 8 trigrams flashed, and Sushu's figure suddenly disappeared. The expressions of the people couldn't help being stunned. Boss, what's the matter? Swish. Sushu returned to the Ark of Good Fortune, found an abandoned attic, and placed the piece of jade and the A-level source fire on the dusty case. Synthesis. Stretch out your hand and emit white light. A battlefield prompt sounded in my ear. This ancient relic is forcibly fused with a high-rank energy body, and the seal will be forcibly broken. Do you want to synthesize it? Yes. Su Shu was extremely decisive. Wow. The next moment, I saw that the A-level source fire instantly turned into a red liquid and entered the remnant jade, and the remnant jade trembled suddenly after being infused with this majestic energy, and beams of multicolored light beams projected out of it. 1, 2, 3. Until this beam of light completely washed away the remnant jade and shattered it into pieces that filled the sky. Soot. A little bit of colorful brilliance about the size of a fingertip rose slowly, but the light emitted illuminated the entire attic, and even penetrated the attic. The gray good fortune arc was also colorful, as if it had become a fairyland on earth. This is. Su Shu looked at the colorful brilliance, his lips trembling slightly. The memory fragments in my mind are extremely vivid at this moment. He recognized it. The lingering brilliance of the woman in her remnants is the same color as this moment. Her face also became extremely clear, as if piercing through endless memories. She smiled kindly at Su Shu. Su Shu raised his hand tremblingly, wanting to touch the face of the woman in his memory. But at the next moment, the memories completely disappeared. He only encountered the smoke and dust under the colorful light, and the woman's face disappeared. Mother. 2 lines of tears rolled down Su Shu's red-eyed face, and he stared blankly at the smoke and dust reflected in colorful colors by the brilliance, and there was nothing there, as if it was just a dream. Su Shu felt uncontrollable sadness in his heart, and the tears flowed down uncontrollably. Having been educated by Old Man Chen as a soldier since he was a child, he has long forgotten what crying is, and he doesn't know why his body began to be out of his control at this time. No, no. Su Shu slapped On on the head twice. He didn't forget that this was a battlefield. Momentarily activated his physical energy, evaporated the liquid on his face, and calmly began to examine the scene in front of him. He firmly remembered the appearance of that woman deep in his heart, as if it was more important than his life. He has already determined that Old Man Chen must have something to hide from him. And he must know about On's life experience, so next time he goes back, he has to press him. Thinking, he stretched out his hand. The 5-color brilliance the size of a fingertip in front of him instantly landed in the palm of his hand. A row of data pops up in front of you. ... Ancient relic. Effect. Resist a fatal attack every 7 days. Use the source fire to continue repairing. ... Another ancient relic. What is the identity of the woman I just saw? There was a deep doubt in Su Shu's heart. He would not rashly judge that the other party was his own relative. There are only 2 ways to answer the question. One is Old Man Chen. But the old man's mouth is too strict, and he is always treacherous and cunning. It is not easy to get the truth out of his mouth. Second, it is to repair this piece in the battlefield. Only ancient relics can get more information. Source of fire. Su Shu's eyes lit up. Be sure to get as many source fires as possible. He took out the spear point again and put it together with Can Yu. Since Lu Dashan handed over these spear points to himself, there must be a deep meaning of the gods. Moreover, this remnant jade can save its life once every 7 days, so it is not a loss to use an A-level source fire to unlock it. Swish. The figure of Su Shu Setsuna returned to the battlefield again. When everyone saw Su Shu appearing again, Chi-Chi was shocked. Without saying a word, Su Shu rushed into the mountain of corpses composed of tens of thousands of ferocious beast corpses. Reach out and wave. Above the corpses of the ferocious beasts all over the land, a huge phantom of 8 trigrams was cast. The corpse under the phantom disappeared instantly. Everyone was stunned. Such a strong recovery ability. What level is the boss's base? Su Shu didn't explain much to the crowd, but waved to everyone. Then our village can't defend anymore, and we have to take the initiative to attack the 10,000 Beasts Kingdom, do you understand? What? All the chosen ones were stunned. This is a test, boss. Everyone is struggling to defend an attack, but Su Shu wants to lead the army to take the initiative. But soon everyone nodded. Yes, after all, with the current strength of No. 475 Novice Village, it is not impossible to take the initiative to attack. Zhao Yun and the Good Fortune crowd were also transported back to the Good Fortune Arc by an 8 trigrams phantom. The area radiated by Good Fortune Arc is as large as 2 counties. It can be said that within a radius of 100 miles, it is an area that Good Fortune Arc can control, and it can send troops at any time. Once Su Shu decides to launch the Good Fortune Arc, it will become a real war fortress. Whoosh. The figure of Su Shu returned to the Ark of Good Fortune again. The pack of wolves were overjoyed, thinking that the corpses of these beasts were for them to eat. In the end, they were all pushed aside by Su Shu. Call. Su Shu let out a sigh of relief, and white rays of light continuously bloomed from his hands. This is a huge project. Decomposing 10,000 beast carcasses would consume 20,000 points of mental energy, not to mention the mental energy required for synthesis. Baikyu Library. Fortunately, Su Shu is in the Ark of Good Fortune, and mental energy can be restored at any time. Ding, you disintegrated. Ding, you disintegrated. System prompts sounded continuously in my ears. There are several Good Fortune formations next to them. One formation contains source fire, one formation contains corpse fragments, one formation contains skills, and one formation contains equipment. Whenever Su Shu finished breaking it down, these few Good Fortune formations will automatically absorb the loot, saving Su Shu a lot of trouble. After half a day, Su Shu finally decomposed all the corpses of these 10,000 beasts. All the source fires are synthesized. Looking at the 10B level source fire in his hand, Su Shu felt ecstasy again. Not only the source of fire. There are thousands of equipment parts decomposed from the beasts. Although most of them are low-level equipment, Su Shu can't hold back and can continue to synthesize. Ding, you synthesize. Ding, you synthesize. After a while, these thousands of pieces of beast equipment were synthesized into a piece of level 10 ordinary equipment by Su Shu. Moreover, from Luanfang, Su Shu also decomposed a pair of Luanfang's claws. Luanfang Claw, King Level Beast Equipment. Effect 1. Fengwei, attack power increased by 150%. Effect 2. Flame Madness, control of fire attribute ability plus 100%. Su Shu looked at it and said to Zhao Yun, give me your gun. In order to save Su Shu last time, Zhao Yun's bright silver gun was broken by the body of the god servant. He has been using ordinary long spears, which greatly limits Zhao Yun's combat effectiveness. Su Shu was holding the ordinary spear, the Luanfang Claw, and the level 10 ordinary equipment. Synthesis. Ding, you have obtained the level 10 king equipment Luanfang Spear. Luanfang Spear. Attack power 800, effect 1 attribute. Skill 1, Fengwei, attack power increased by 150%. Skill 2, Flame Madness, fire attribute ability control plus 100%. Skill 3, all skill effects plus 5%. Level 10 King's equipment is not bad. Su Shu nodded and threw the Phoenix Spear to Zhao Yun. Zhao Yun took the fiery red Phoenix gun, and couldn't help but danced a few flaming guns on the spot, lighting up an attic, and immediately kowtowed to Su Shu. Thank you, my lord, for giving me the gun. After being equipped with a bright silver gun, Zhao Yun's combat power also soared to 15 stars. Promoted to 2-star combat power. Doctor level. Su Shu chuckled. Now I am already a doctor level powerhouse in one of my arms. Up. As Zhao Yun's combat power soared, Su Shu's combat power naturally also soared by 1 star, reaching 19 stars. After dismantling a large number of skill crystals of the beast, Su Shu did not forget to synthesize them directly. They actually synthesized 2 level 4 king skills. This. Su Shu looked at it, and felt that these 2 level 4 skills were not very helpful to own. The skill of Explosive Blade was decomposed directly from himself. 3 4th level skill crystallizations launched a wave of synthesis. Ding, you have obtained the level 5 king skill Qinshan Bird Flying Absolutely. Effect. Generate 100 phantom clones with 5% of its own attributes, and the first attack of each clone will cause 200% damage. Quote. Call. Su Shu's breathing suddenly became heavy. This skill is simply a group weapon. Not to mention anything else, just transform yourself into a giant body, and then activate this skill. Swish. Another 100 oversized phantoms of themselves appeared on the battlefield. That scene, tisk tisk. Ban nesting dolls. Yanzu, stop, it's full of Su Shu outside. Thinking of that horrible scene, Su Shu couldn't help wailing silently for his enemies. I advise you to be more acquainted, and don't block Daddy's way to collect source fire. After acquiring this skill, Su Shu's combat power finally broke through the 20-star mark. The speed of this combat power promotion is as fast as riding a rocket. When the other candidates in the novice middle area were still more than a dozen stars, Su Shu had already broken through to 20 stars. Naturally, Su Shu did not spare the corpses of these ferocious beasts. Although the types are not complete, there are dozens of different races among the 10,000 beasts. But it still allowed Su Shu to synthesize more than a dozen Lord-level beasts with 10-star combat power. Su Shu assigned all these fierce beasts to Wang Kai as his younger brother. Then he held a bunch of B-level source fires in his hand, frowned and thought. Just 10 pieces of B-level source fire, whether it is used to repair the spear point or the jade, is definitely not enough. Only by creating more arms can snowballing get more source fire. Su Shu made a quick decision. Put all the 10 B-level source fires into the Good Fortune Bengay grid. Swish. Another 800 Good Fortune crowd appeared in front of Su Shu impressively. Looking at 1,000 good fortune people in front of me. The soldiers are strong and the horses are so strong. Su Shu and Zhao Yun are together. Trembling, they looked at each other. Su Shu asked Zhao Yun suspiciously, I'm shaking because I'm excited, why are you shaking? I am sincere for the Lord. Zhao Yun blushed a little. It is really ecstatic to be able to lead 1,000 Su Shu in battle. This soldier is really easy to use. Quote, oh. Su Shu nodded and said nothing. But Su Shu wanted to continue to create more good fortune soldiers, but was reminded that the good fortune soldier pavilion level is not enough. Only after unlocking the 3rd floor of the good fortune soldier pavilion can it accommodate more soldiers. Open the upper limit of the number of arms to 3,000. It turns out that there is an upper limit to the types of troops. Su Shu suddenly realized. But 1,000 good fortunes are enough for the time being. He looked at the requirements for unlocking the 3rd floor of the Good Fortune Bengay, and it required a full 500 points of good fortune. Let's put it aside for now. Su Shu got up and walked to the deck of the Good Fortune Arc, and looked outside. It was found that other selected persons were still intensively manufacturing arms and improving their strength. AB level source fire is enough for them to create many units and upgrade their base. Different from everyone else, Su Shu's base was synthesized by himself. Initially it was fragments, and all upgrades became repairs. Other people's bases can be upgraded. And as the base area is upgraded, the medicine pills, arms, etc. that can be produced in the base area will also become stronger. Hey, medicine pill. Su Shu frowned, suddenly remembering this. Turn around and come to the Dan Pavilion of Good Fortune. I haven't seen him for a few days. Xiao Daotong in the Dan Pavilion of Good Fortune is already disgraced, and he is bored in the pill refining in the dark alchemy room all day long, which makes him haggard a lot. And the pill room was already filled with red and blue medicine pills. Su Shu looked at a pile of small red and blue pills in front of him, and suddenly remembered the meme that had been circulated on the internet for a long time. Do you choose to take the little blue pill or the little red pill? Su Shu picked up this large pile of small pills. There were more than 500 pills. It can be seen how fast the Good Fortune Arc is producing medicine pills. He waved to Xiao Daotong. You can rest for a few days, you don't need to be busy for the time being. This is a lot of good fortune Dan. Su Shu first distributed some to the good fortune crowd to improve the combat capability of the good fortune crowd. Then eat all the remaining hundreds of them. Yes. Hitting the medicine pill hard is the fastest way to improve your strength. Take 100 good fortune pills, and your overall attributes will increase a little. Take 100 good fortune pills, and your all attributes will increase a little. System prompts sounded in Su Shu's ears one after another. Baiku Library. At this time, his attributes have increased by 3 points, and his combat power has also taken a step forward. Cool. Su Shu burst into ecstasy, and waved to Xiao Daotong, take a break and continue practicing, don't stop. With dark circles under his eyes, Xiao Daotong's complexion suddenly darkened, and he lamented in his heart. How long will this dark 996 last? Su Shu looked at the conditions for upgrading the Good Fortune Pill Pavilion, and also needed the power of good fortune, but he couldn't upgrade for the time being, so he turned and left. But Su Shu didn't notice. after he left the alchemy room. A lazy charming shadow came to the alchemy room. Her face was reddish, as if she had just exercised. She handed a small bottle of pink juice to Xiao Daotong, with a faint smile on her lips. Baby, help my sister add this to the medicine pill that the master wants to eat. This is good for the master. Rub. Xiao Daotong looked at the succubus-like woman in front of him, and suddenly took a few steps towards retreat. Su Shu is preparing to lead the army to attack the kingdom of beasts. At this time, there was a burst of shouting outside Good Fortune's ark. Where did you come from? If you dare to take a step closer, you will be killed. Everyone of Great Sha, we are here to surrender. A strange tone came from the sound that east is not east, west is not west, foreign is not foreign, and soil is not soil. Su Shu walked outside the Good Fortune ark, and saw a 9-foot-tall blonde man, followed by a black curry guy, who was looking at him with a flattering expression like a devil's translator, and dozens of people were tied behind him. A Fuzang man was screaming and struggling desperately. Idiot, Jack, you shameless traitor, the great Fuzang Empire will not forgive you. You will get retribution. That blonde man with a funny mustache, bowed lower than anyone else in front of Su Shu, and said with a smile, you are Su. Captain Su, I am from these two villages. Baochang, I have come here specially to surrender to you, Taijin. Pointing at the group of Fuzang people again, he said viciously. These Fuzang people dare to fight against the Imperial Army. The troublemaker has been arrested by me. Quote, Pooh. Su Shu was happy. Puff. Lin Jia and the others couldn't bear it long ago. Listening to the lines that this foreign devil learned from some third-rate anti-Japanese drama, he couldn't help laughing. You have to use the right incision to surrender. What the hell do you call the Imperial Army? Who the hell told you that we Daxia people should also be called Taijin? If you don't live, you don't have to be tough. Ah, Taijin, I. The blonde mustache was instantly embarrassed and broke out in cold sweat. He didn't understand Oriental culture at all. I still learned these lines from Daxia TV series. Did I say something wrong? What should I do? Everyone was holding back their laughter and feeling uncomfortable, wondering what kind of TV show this foreign devil was just watching. The mustache named Jack is suffering. Daxia's culture is extensive and profound. If he hadn't been forced to this point, how could he have made such a bad move? When they were driven back to the novice village by Lin Jia and the others, they didn't feel anything. Unexpectedly, in just half an hour, the chosen ones of Great Sha had already dealt with the first wave of beasts. What kind of combat power is this? Those 10,000 beasts seemed to have never appeared before. With such a neighbor, I will be wiped out sooner or later, and none of them will survive. The heads of the 3 novice villages of different races suddenly broke out in cold sweat. They gathered together and discussed for a long time before they came up with such a countermeasure. Surrender. Be sure to surrender. No way. They can't leave the novice village and run away. After running away, the novice village perishes, and they are directly wiped out by the battlefield. If you can run away, the monk can't run away from the temple. So this Jack discussed for a long time with the candidate of Curry country from another village, and then wiped out another Fuzang village with his backhand. Captured all Fuzang people and sent them to Su Shu to plead guilty. Jack tremblingly said to Su Shu, Mr. Su, all the great Sha chosen from our village have been brought here, but we haven't killed any of the great Sha chosen. Seeing the smile on the corner of Su Shu's mouth, he trembled again in fright, and explained with tears in his eyes. I have no hostility towards your country. I am from the Rooster country. I am just an ordinary chosen one. I have nothing to do with the Great Eagle country. Standing behind Jack are dozens of candidates from the Great Sha, also. He came up and nodded to Su Shu and said, this guy is right. He didn't take the initiative to kill us Daxia people. He did rely on his strength to gain a dominant position. The one who killed us Daxia people was the number 461 novice village. After speaking, he pointed to dozens of Fuzang people who were tied up beside him. Su Shu nodded slightly, understanding the meaning. The novice village led by Jack did not take the initiative to kill the Daxia people, but coexisted with the Daxia people. There are very few such neutral villages, but they do exist. He looked at Lin Jia who was on the side, and Lin Jia nodded. I have checked, it is indeed the case. Su Shu looked at this Jack's attributes again, and found that this person had a C-level conspiracy talent. C-level sophistry talent. Sophistry path. Fraudster. Effect. Consume mental energy to make the opponent believe what you say. The stronger the opponent is, the more mental energy will be consumed, the weaker the effect will be. And the curry man next to him also has a C-level talent. Psychological weakening. Effect. Consume mental energy to weaken the opponent's psychological defense. The stronger the opponent is, the more mental energy is consumed, the worse the effect. This. After reading it, Su Shu almost decided to kill the two of them on the spot. These are two liars. Immediately used the killing value to buy a C-level item, Eye of Reality, from the battlefield. Can detect all their own status. Immediately checked the own status, and found that he had not entered the state of being cheated, and then looked at Lin Jia and Daxia's chosen one next to him, who also did not fall into the state of cheating. Su Shu was relieved. Own's combat power is much higher than these two. It seems that their talent is impossible to take effect on themselves. This also made Su Shu more defensive. Together, these two people look like a pair of born liars. Cheat after weakening. Su Shu realized. It turns out that the essence of the cunning talent is cheating, abducting and stealing. These two talents have little effect on Su Shu. The tricky talent can only select one path. Su Shu has already selected the thief path. Decomposing other tricky materials can only promote the thief path, and cannot control other paths. Su Shu made a decision immediately, and asked coldly, "What good will it do me if I don't kill you?" Jack immediately stood up. Taijin, oh no. Mr. Su. I have a C-level conspiracy talent. After finishing speaking, he showed the fraudster talent to Su Shu, and then said with tears on his face, "Because of this talent, they all call me a liar, and Octavian dare not trust me, saying that I am a liar, but in fact I am a liar. Great good people. Oh, that means you want to join me." Su Shu's expression was indifferent, but his heart moved secretly. The deceitful talent can only choose one path, and promotion can only be promoted within its own path. But in the end, the cunning talent will go to multiple paths to merge and become the old ruler. Controlling other alien races is a good way for Su Shu to control other mysterious talents. You have only one way, he said lightly. Give up the status of the chosen one and become my soldier. I don't need to kill you. What? When Jack and the curry man heard it, their expressions fell silent. Give up the status of the chosen one. Su Shu had already spent 50 kill points to exchange for 2 C-level props that he had been looking at for a long time on the battlefield. Fallen Contract Class C Limited Items. Effect. Under the premise of being completely voluntary and one's own strength surpasses the opponent's, the selected person can be degenerated into a soldier. Note: this item is a limited item and cannot be traded. It can only be exchanged with your own kill value, and it is only available in the novice area. The chosen ones can become arms. This limited item can do it, completely control the enemy and make the opponent a part of his own strength. It's just that the limited items can only be exchanged with their own kill value, and they can be used by themselves and cannot be traded. And there are not many candidates who can earn 50 kill points in the central area, let alone exchange for various life-saving items, except for rich and powerful people like Su Shu. He has long wanted to try this limited item. Jack and Curry looked at the fallen contract and hesitated for a long time. Live, but become someone else's vassal, or die now? This is a tough question. Finally, Jack nodded hesitantly. But the curry guy suddenly showed a fierce look, took out a long knife, and slashed at Su Shu. Go to hell, Daxia people, we Curry Kingdom will never be slaves. Swish. There is no need for Su Shu to do anything, besides. Lin Jia cut the curry guy in half from head to toe. Wow, blood flowed all over the ground. Su Shu conveniently put the curry guy's body into the portable space, and disassembled talent. Then handed the fallen contract to Jack. Sign it, I didn't force you. Ah, Jack sighed. My natal talent is only E-level, and it's luck to survive until now. Now it seems that I can survive with a thigh. He slowly signed the contract. Originally thought he could get a bargain, but Su Shu didn't leave him any way out. Ding! A battlefield notification came from Su Shu's ear. Jack the Chosen has become your unit. Su Shu's senses are very novel. This is still his first chosen unit. He conveniently took out the C-level psychological weakening and handed it to Jack, to see if the own chosen unit can use the talent crystal. He had tried Zhao Yun and others before, but none of them could fuse talent crystals. The battlefield reminded, the arms have no authority to be chosen, so they cannot control talent. After Jack took the crystal, his eyes flickered, and a burst of ecstasy suddenly burst out, and he knelt down and kowtowed. Thank you, Master. From today onwards, I will be your most loyal servant. Su Shu was also secretly happy. It seems that the selected arms can be fused with talent crystals. And it is impossible for the arms to reveal their secrets. After becoming a branch, everything is under his control, he can feel every thought in his heart, and can kill him at any time. Own background has become stronger again. Immediately afterwards, a thought suddenly popped into Su Shu's mind. That being the case, can I use the selected arms to absorb resources from other races? The foreign race will definitely be ecstatic when they find out that they have a few more peerless geniuses, and then invest a lot of resources on them. It's not that no one has done this kind of operation, and some people have played this kind of coquettish operation when the second time came. However, his chosen unit was found and killed by the enemy god in the returning Setsuna. And myself, Su Shu thought, even the top brass of Daxia can't see the own data, maybe the top brass of the foreign race can't find out that the other party has become an own troop. Even if he found out, he would only lose a few selected units. Su Shu pondered for a moment, then suddenly said to Jack, now you can go back and return to the Great Eagle country. Quote. What? Jack was dumbfounded. Aren't I looking for death when I go back now? Let's just say, after hearing Su Shu's plan, Jack's eyes widened. It's too poisonous. It's a dead end. How dirty is his master's heart? He has completely seen it. Don't leave any way for others to survive. Jack kowtowed. Yes, I am willing to die for my master. Immediately afterwards, he said, I have one thing now, and I want to tell the master. Say it. Su Shu checked his memory and immediately knew what he was going to say. The head of the Fuzang Kingdom dispatched a C-level god-killing team to ambush near Qiantang County, and attack and kill you as soon as you leave Qiantang County. When the selected candidates of Daxia heard that a C-level god-killing team was coming to assassinate Su Shu, they all became nervous. After all, in the novice zone, generally speaking, the C-level god-killing team is already the strongest god-killing team. Opposite to the C-level Kunlun team on Daxia's side. I didn't expect Su Shu to attract so much attention from the other party so quickly. Sent someone to deliver talent again. Su Shu looked very happy after hearing this. What? The faces of Jack and all the candidates from Great Sha froze immediately. Jack was stunned and then said, I heard that the gods of the Fuzang Kingdom specially placed them into the battlefield. 7 short-haired women with the same appearance, beautiful appearance, only about 14 or 15 years old, but extremely powerful. Su Shu suddenly became interested. Septuplets lowly. What? This is indeed a road never imagined. The selected candidates of Daxia also showed smiles that men could understand. After all, 1 lowly is not as good as 2 lowly, and 2 lowly is not as good as 3 lowly. Septuplet lowly, that is 7 times the happiness. Go and contact the chosen ones of the Great Eagle Kingdom first, I'll go meet the septuplets. Su Shu smiled. Then he said to Lin Jia and the others next to him, all the alien race candidates in the nearby villages should be wiped out. Move the corpses to the Good Fortune Ark and deal with them when I come back. Yes, boss. Jack, who had just walked 2 steps, froze when he heard this. There was a wry smile. I am very lucky to be able to survive, so how can I care about other people? Jack began to think about Su Shu's plan in his mind. Now that you have become someone else's dog, you should think carefully about how to make this dog a new idea, a realm, and a sense of accomplishment. He was recognized by the god of deceit at the beginning, and he has always been a suppressed existence in the Great Eagle Kingdom camp, otherwise he would not have asked for help many times to no avail. The reason is simple. Because the god of deceit has also been in a bad situation these years, his divine power is constantly weakening, and he is about to be kicked out of the temple. No background, no power, everywhere is the bottom. Now I have at least become a confidant of the boss, and my status has risen to a higher level. Thinking of this, Jack suddenly froze and let out a long howl in Mandarin Chinese. What's wrong with the liar? I want to become the greatest liar under Su Shu's command. County border. Su Shu released more than a dozen good fortune members, each of them turned into their own, walking on the non-stop road. Soon, swish, the head of a good fortune exploded, and 7 lowly figures appeared. Wait here for me, Su Shu sneered. The figure flickered. Ambushed in a jungle. I saw a pair of lowly's calves like white radish in front of her, walking in a uniform pace. Her upper body was in a kimono, and her eyes were emotionless but extremely sharp. A few Fuzang people followed, looking at the corpses of the good fortune crowd with a sneer. This is Su Shu. But that's it, you haven't taken a single move in front of Lord Shenzi. It seems that China is not as good as one generation after another. Is such a person worthy of being called a genius? But the 7 little lawless didn't relax their vigilance for a moment, staring at their surroundings all the time, as if they had discovered something. Suddenly, they looked in the direction of Su Shu and raised their long knives. Apart from anything else, a blade light like a torrential rain suddenly moved towards Su. Sasa Zhe. 7 crisp drinking voices came with a little childishness. The angle, direction, and speed of each knife were incomparably uniform, cutting precisely in Su Shu's direction. Su Shu only glanced at it, and the data of a little lowly appeared in front of his eyes. Sea-level deceitful system talent sailor sequence the blessed one of the wind. Effect walking against the wind, it can induce the rotation of the atmosphere, and release the equivalent of spirit. Wind blades with powerful damage cut through everything around them. Sea-level God-blessing physique born of the same kind. When multiple people with the same talent get together in the same environment, they will have a tsunami effect, and their combat power will be multiplied by 1.25 times. Battle power 11.5 stars, 0.12.5 stars, 0.13.5 stars, 0.14.5 stars. Baiku Library. Su Shu's eyes widened suddenly. Does it still have such superimposed combat power? Soared directly from 11.5 to 14.5 stars. What's going on with this God's blessing physique? He discovered that the 7 little lowly's talents were all sailors. It is equal to the spell damage that comes with the body every moment, and this spell damage is directly equivalent to its own mental energy, which is not powerful. The key is that 7 people are stacked together, and the damage is directly heaven-defying. What's more perverted? There is also a blessing from the gods. The power of each additional talent of the same type will be superimposed by 1.25 times. If it wasn't a dark move that the Fuzang god had planted a long time ago, no one would believe it. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Every girl is surrounded by a circle of rapidly rotating sea wind, which is as deadly as a transparent sharp blade. The range of the sea wind is the absolute realm. Mental energy does not exceed their opponents, and they will be killed in an instant. Moreover, when they gathered together, the sea breeze was still adding damage. Call. Su Shu already smelled the smell of the sea in his nostrils, and his hair stood on end. The demigod of the Sailor series should be Poseidon. Could it be that this route is controlled by the Fuzang kingdom? A guess crossed his mind. He retreated violently to avoid the wind blade. His body began to be covered with a layer of golden light, his muscles and bones turned into jade, and bursts of immortal chi lingered around his body. Vajra is not bad. It is equivalent to transforming the body from acquired to innate in an instant. Bang, bang, bang. All the clothes on Su Shu's body exploded, torn apart by the blade-like sea breeze and the blades of the 7 little lowly, revealing the glorious battle armor overflowing with gold, and a large piece of strong and powerful muscle, exuding a jade-like luster. But now he has a 20-star combat power, and with Vajra in his body, the ordinary knife of 7 lowly didn't hurt him at all. Gather. One of the 7 lowly yelled. Swish. They quickly gathered together and formed in a small circle. The sword light gathered at one point, unleashing an unparalleled powerful combat power. This point of knife light fell directly on Su Shu's shoulder. Bang. Su Shu's shoulder erupted with a loud sound like a steel collision, and a trace of blood slid down. And a sneer crossed the corner of Su Shu's mouth. Waiting for this moment. Blade of no void. Swish. In an instant, the speed of the little lowly's actions suddenly slowed down. Under the huge star difference, they couldn't even move. In just 1 or 2 seconds, Su Shu stepped forward and quickly separated the 7 little lawless. Then when he turned around, a saber light blasted and killed a dozen or so Fuzang people who followed him. Swish! The effect of Wukong blade passed in a hurry. A little lowly looked at Su Shu in front of him, a shock appeared in his dull pupils. Even though they had the blessing of the gods, they were still forced into this situation. It shows that Su Shu's strength has surpassed them by a lot. Gather. There was another crisp girl's drink. 7th lowly continued to fight Su Shu without hesitation. Hee, you guys have had enough. Su Shu smiled disapprovingly. Immediately, he grabbed a little lowly's hair with his big hand, and slammed her petite body onto the rock, raised her big foot and stepped on it hard. Snapped. Su Shu stepped on the jade arm holding the knife of little lowly into bloody mud. One person is missing. The superposition of combat power of the remaining 6 people suddenly decreased, and their expressions were hesitating between retreating or not retreating. But Su Shu didn't give them time to choose. Going forward to grab a little lowly's hair, ignoring the panic in her eyes, she forcibly tore off her arm holding the knife. The girl's blood poured on Su Shu's head, and his eyes were extremely cold. Yeah, little lowly screamed in extreme pain, and was thrown aside by Su Shu. Su Shu smiled disdainfully. It's not safe for children to imitate other people's knives, you know. Once again, one person lost his combat power, and the combat power of the remaining 5 little lawless was reduced again, with only 12 stars remaining. Su Shu discovered the weakness of the 7 little lowly at first glance. That is, as long as one person loses combat power. Break down one by one. It will make them powerless to fight back. In the face of real strength, all means are useless. With anger flashing in the eyes of a little lowly, he rushed towards Su Shu impressively, and slashed at Su Shu head-on. God slays demons. There was a crisp drinking sound. Demon. Su Shu sneered. He stepped forward and bowed, dodging the knife, and caught a glimpse of the scenery under the skirt. He didn't look much. He turned around and grabbed the white ankle of little lowly, allowing the long knife to slash on him. Reach out. Swish. Under the horrified eyes of little lowly, Su Shu kicked her delicate body hard. Big brother will play a game with you. Su Shu's expression turned cold. Windmill. Hurrah! The girl was directly treated as a plaything by Su Shu, and she waved it around in a circle, beating her head on the ground continuously. Boom! The delicate little lowly was quickly broken by Su Shu's impact, and the blood mixed with the mud covered the ground, and she passed out. Snapped. Su Xie let go. Her upper body seemed to be boneless, and she collapsed to the ground. After beating, Su Shu feels good all over. After exercising a lot of muscles and bones, his face is very confident. Let's go up together. It feels good to ravage lowly. Hearing the helpless cries of that petite body in his hands, Su Shu felt relieved. Hitting girls, I'm the best at it. There was a panic in the eyes of the remaining 4 little lawless. Even with their unemotional nerves. I was also shocked by Su Shu's cruelty. Call. At the next moment, the eyes of the remaining 4 little lowly showed determination. The eyes suddenly turned pure white. There seems to be a constantly gathering storm flowing in it. A rough and violent voice like a storm came from their bodies. My children, give your bodies. Su Shu was shocked. If you can't beat it, just call your parents. He knew that the gods had the means to bring some of their strength to the central area. But that strength is absolutely impossible to surpass the strongest in the central area. From the current point of view, it is impossible to surpass own strength, and the gods will have to pay a huge price. This sea god of Fuzang is quite unremarkable. He just hit his favored person, broke the defense and studded. Su Shu sneered. If it's just the strongest in the central area, he will achieve the achievement of killing gods today. After half an hour, from the 7 little lowly, a majestic tidal force slowly gushed out of the body. The tides gathered together, as if they were completely different from the battlefield, constantly being consumed by the heaven and the earth. Finally congealed. A huge whale. The whole body of this whale is wrapped in golden battle armor, like a real god, slowly cruising in the void, with no sense in its eyes. Made of pure energy. Su Shu took a look and instantly understood. This is a passive skill. It will inevitably happen when these 7 little lowly are defeated. It is estimated that Fuzang God originally bestowed this blessing, thinking that the little loli will be invincible in the central area, and it is impossible to lose the battle. It is prepared for the large area stage. Who knew he had met himself? Passive compulsion activated. A line of data popped up in front of Su Shu's eyes. An illegal energy body that breaks the rules has been detected. Introduction. The energy body illegally summoned from the outside world will be automatically wiped out by the battlefield after 5 minutes. Combat power. 18 stars. After reading, Su Shu breathed a sigh of relief. The killing field pays the most attention to fairness. How could people outside the battlefield be allowed to intervene? The incarnation that the god forcibly left behind is only 18-star combat power. And even if Su Shu doesn't run away, after 5 minutes, this thing will automatically be obliterated by the battlefield. After thinking for a moment, Su Shu then made a decision. Kill. This is the energy left by the gods. I don't know what good things can be decomposed. Besides, it only has 18-star combat power, so it is not its own opponent. Swish. Su Shu's body suddenly swelled a bit, his limbs turned into ferocious claws, his whole body was covered with scales, and his head turned into a huge dragon's head. Gluttonous real body. He activated the blood in an instant, and then activated the Wu Clan physique. Call. The newly activated Teoti's avatar instantly became more than 200 meters in size, and it really looked like a mountain, comparable to the blue whale that filled the sky and the earth opposite. After activating this skill, Su Shu's combat power also increased by 1 star, reaching 21 stars. It completely crushed the combat power of the 3-star blue whale. God, isn't it? A sneer came out of Teoti's mouth. Since you dare to break the rules, leave something for daddy. Roar. Teoti rushed towards the blue whale impressively. The blue whale radiated a sea wind blade that was 10 times fiercer than that of the little loli before. The realm under control is also 100 times that of before. But Teoti broke through without hesitation, and bit the blue whale's neck fiercely, tearing off a large piece of energy. Seriously injured and dying, and a few little loli who summoned the blue whale stared at the scene in the sky with wide eyes, full of disbelief. It turns out, actually, can anyone fight a god? Even if it's just a clone of a god, it's impossible. But Su Shu is not at war with the gods at this time. He is beating the gods violently. For the other candidates, facing this blue whale is indeed enough to cause them big trouble, and even affect the overall situation. But this blue whale didn't have the slightest resistance against Su Shu's 20-star combat power. All kinds of means that can instantly kill other candidates in the central area. In front of Su Shu, who has opened up the physique of the witch clan and the blood of gluttony, he can't even break the defense. Su Shu took one bite after another, tearing at the blue whale. The bitten flesh and blood all turned into big balls of blue energy, which were about to dissipate between the sky and the earth. Su Shu didn't need to think too much about it. Once this ball of energy dissipated, it would definitely be easier on the battlefield. When the energy just left the blue whale's body, he directly decomposed it. System prompts sounded continuously in my ears. Ding. You got AB level source fire 1. You got AB level source fire 1. You got AB level source fire 1. This energy from Fuso God can be directly decomposed into source fire. Su Shu felt ecstasy in his heart. At the same time, I also feel very urgent. After all, the time is only 5 minutes. In case of overtime, the blue whale will be obliterated by the battlefield. Facing the incarnation of the gods, the others were all thinking about how to survive these 5 minutes. But Su Shu was afraid that the gods would not be able to bear it for 5 minutes in front of her. In the void, the huge blue whale widened its eyes, staring at the Teoti that was biting wildly on its body. Baikyu Library. As an incarnation, although it only has the most basic intelligence, but also would not think. These 5 minutes were originally reserved for myself to clear the enemy. And now, it just wants to kill itself quickly on the battlefield. What a pervert. Su Shu has already become addicted to it. The sound of continuously obtaining B-level source fire came from his ear, which made him extremely happy. Within 5 minutes, Su Shu forcibly gnawed the huge blue whale until only the bones remained. Su Shu didn't even spare the bones, he directly broke them and decomposed them. It's all pure energy. Because decomposition can only take effect on dead objects, this blue whale can be regarded as an energy body with basic consciousness, not completely dead objects, and the decomposition process can also be interrupted, only under the current premise that Su Shu completely crushes the opponent in order to tear apart the opponent's body, he can decompose him at the same time. This blue whale is like watching itself being disintegrated bit by bit. After a while, all the huge blue whales turned into flames and fell into the hands of Su Shu. Su Shu looked at the more than 100 B-level source fires in his hand, and his heart blossomed. I didn't expect such an unexpected surprise. I didn't do anything, but this Fuzang god gave me an A-level source fire, which can catch up with the harvest of the last battle. ... God, dead. Below, the 7 little loli watched Su Shu tear up and eat the god they had served all their lives in front of them. This bloody scene completely crushed them. The 7 girls lost all their energy and fell to the ground slumped, staring blankly at the scene in the void and muttering to themselves. God was eaten. After all, they are still naive, but they are extremely powerful, but they can't distinguish between pros and cons. Otherwise, he wouldn't be treated like a child by Noguchi. The scene in front of them completely shattered their faith. Su Shu first synthesized more than 100 B-level source fires into one A-level source fire, and put it away. There was also a regretful sigh in his mouth. Even the avatar that protects the lives of the chosen ones is so weak, I don't know how to come up with a stronger one. The Fuzang god is really picky. He didn't think about it. 18-star power. In front of the other chosen ones at this time, there is already a combat force capable of slaughtering everyone. At this time, outside the blue starry sky, inside a boundless temple. This temple is eerie and weird, as damp as the lair of a sea beast. In the depths of the lair, lies a demigod body with a goldfish head, an octopus body, and all the skin stripped to reveal flesh and blood. The strange breath is maddening. Even the seabirds that accidentally flew down from hundreds of miles away were infected by the strange aura so that their sand value was cleared to 0, and their flesh and blood swelled and mutated into a wriggling pool of flesh and blood, and fell to the ground. But at this moment, suddenly, a cold female voice came from the ear of this demigod creature. Break the rules, F-class felony, all attributes will be reduced by 10%, permanently irreversible. The demigod creature let out an incomparably miserable howl. It's like being tortured. The body gradually shrunk by 10%. It knew that the Son of God it cultivated had an effect, and this punishment was expected. But why so fast? Only in the middle stage, the Son of God encountered an irresistible enemy. After half an hour, but it issued a question. Ask, my energy. Why didn't it return? Question succeeded. Deduct 2,560 kill points. Answer. The energy has been plundered by hostile chosen ones and cannot be returned. Immediately afterwards, another notification sound came. Your 7 chosen ones have betrayed. Son of God, Son of God, Son of God. Ah, sound like. The astonishing roar of a snake-like whale resounded. Who is it? It actually made the Son of God betray me. Dream thief, mind stealer. Inside the battlefield, Su Shu is trying to use the Dream Thief talent on the 7 little loli. Unexpectedly, their psychological defenses were extremely weak at this time, and Su Shu directly and successfully tampered with their subconscious minds, allowing them to sign a degenerate contract with themselves. You get the godson of the chosen arms. You get the godson of the chosen arms. You get the godson of the chosen arms. Beeps kept coming from my ears. Via Dream Thief. Su Shu also saw the experience of these 7 girls growing up in Fuzang. Since being cloned, they have been consciously destroyed their spirits and personalities, and suffered all kinds of unspeakable pain and torture, just to select qualified gods chosen. From the beginning, they are not treated as human beings. Apart from fighting, other emotions that lead to them are very simple and easy to control. Speaking of perverts, Fuzang people are even better. Su Shu sighed inwardly. However, the 7 brainless loli that Fuzang managed to cultivate are his own from today on. To know, after the sailor path reaches sequence 0, he is called Tyrant, and he is the existence with the strongest frontal combat power among the deceitful talents. It is easy to blow up a world. And these 7 little loli are born with the same mind, and have been deliberately cultivated for many years, and they can also add combat power to each other. When the combat power of the 7 tyrants is superimposed, one can imagine how powerful it will be. Certainly, the premise is to kill the demigods at the forefront of this sequence and fuse them. A sneer crossed Su Shu's face. The Fuso god controls the pathway. Just right, kill them all to raise the tyrant lowly for yourself. ... After signing the fallen contract, the 7 little lawless only have Su Shu in their eyes, empty and empty. No matter where Su Shu went, they followed him step by step, seeming to transfer their previous belief in the sea god to Su Shu and become a sharp sword in Su Shu's hand. This IQ, it seems that it will not be able to be cultivated for a while. Su Shu looked at Chi Nu and sighed. I can only raise it first. Then he casually disassembled the corpses of the dozen or so chosen fusang, and then synthesized all the talent crystals, and each of his talents was promoted. Only then did he bring the 7 little lawless back to the good fortune arc. At this time, Lin Jia and the others had just returned from exterminating a few foreign novice villages. Those 2 foreign novice villages were wiped out without even farting. Hundreds more corpses of the chosen ones were sent to Su Shu. Su Shu disassembled all the talents in it. Did not expect. The Earth-type talents in these 2 villages accounted for the majority, which directly allowed him to synthesize a new B-level Earth-type talent. Hardened Skin, B-class Earth talent. ... Hardened Skin. Effect. You get skin defense equal to 100% of your physique attribute cannot defend against non-material attacks, and every time you receive damage greater than 10% of your health, you will superimpose 100% skin defense, the upper limit is 500%. ... This talent is interesting. Su Shu couldn't help laughing. This is a talent fused from 200 Earth-type talents. Directly increase the defense of the epidermis. And the defense power is equivalent to the value of one's own blood volume. Isn't this a 100% life force shield at the beginning? And every time 10% of HP is lost, it will continue to provide such a shield. It's crazy. With this talent, I'm afraid it's hard for me to die. Of course, Su Shu also discovered that the only shortcoming of this talent is that it cannot defend against non-physical damage. Otherwise, it is really invincible. B-level talent doesn't need any bicycles anymore. If there is a talent with such a high level of defense, it is at least equivalent to Old Man Chen's A-level Jade Vajra talent. You can stand in front of hundreds of same-ranked candidates and let them fight. Su Shu's attribute page has become like this. ... Name: Su Shu. Killing occupation: God's Punishment Practitioner, Legendary Level G. Level 16, 70,000 90,000. Power 215, Sea-level Heaven and Earth Transformation, Sea-level Magma. Agility 216, Sea-level Flash, B-level Air Condensation. Physique 225, B-level Hardened Skin, Sea-level Earthy Body, Sea-level Double Arm Strength Enhancement, Sea-level Lower Body Strength Enhancement, Sea-level Bone Hardening, Sea-level Core Strength Enhancement. Mental Energy 10,000, Sea-level Disorder, B-level Task Prediction, B-level Desire for Madness. Natal Talent SSS level Infinite Decomposition and Synthesis. Crafting Talent F-level Thief and Mind Stealer. Mysterious Talent F-level Monkey King, S-level Rahu Unfused. Skills Level 3 Heaven's Punishment, Level 4 Legendary, No Void Blade, Level 4 Mental Energy Source, Level 5 Legendary, 1000 Mountain Birds Fly. Equipment God 1000 Blades, Glory Armor, General Seal Sword, General Order. Base: SSS Level Good Fortune Arc. Killing Value 1423. Combat Rating 21 stars. ... After watching the attribute version, Su Shu couldn't help but see the light in his eyes. 21 star power. Don't wait any longer, let's attack the 10,000 Beast Kingdom now. Although this kind of combat power cannot be regarded as rampant in the central region, it is still easy to destroy the country in the first stage. Chapter 91. Su Shu immediately walked outside the Good Fortune Arc. It was discovered that Lin Jia and Lu Feng had already led all the selected candidates in Daxia, and they were waiting for death. There was excitement in everyone's eyes. Destroy the country. Now their goal is to destroy the country. Destroy the first country in the killing field. Even if it is only the first level Myriad Beast Kingdom, it is worth inspiring. You must know that the last time it came, when the novice had the strength to launch the war of destroying the country, he had already entered the regional stage. And now that they have just entered the central area, they have already followed Su Shu on the road to destroy the country. Su Shu nodded, and drew out the magic knife from his waist. Follow me. After an order, a total of 100,000 selected troops rushed out of the Dagon border aggressively, led by 1,000 people and Zhao Yun's cavalry. Many of the chosen ones found out at this time. Behind Su Shu stood 7 little lawless with expressionless faces, with a hint of cruelty in their cute faces. They all showed deep smiles. This is, boss has accepted the chosen ones from other races as troops again. Tisk tisk tisk, really handsome. Septuplet slowly, how low is the probability? This kind of blessing, maybe only the boss can enjoy it. ... At this time, a loud broadcast sounded in the sky. Ding! The first battle, the second wave of attack, is coming. The strength is the same as the previous wave, and the attack direction is Novice Village 385, 386, 388, and 389. Please prepare in advance. After a beep, the selected candidates in the central area were in a panic again. Especially named, several novice villages immediately called a meeting nervously. The battles of novice villages are not concentrated in one direction, but all novice villages will be hit by the first battle. After making it through, you can have the village head and the name of the village. If it can't last, it will be the fate of all members of GG. The battlefield is fair. The few novice villages named this time are basically the strongest novice villages of the foreign race, including the novice village where Octavian is located. At this time, novice village number 386, where Octavian was located, was in a plain. On the plain, a high platform like a Roman temple was built, and torches were burning on the high platform. There was a man with a strong and slender body, blonde hair reaching his waist, and a very beautiful face. He was wearing a red robe, holding up a fire, and standing on top. Like a god facing own believers. Open your mouth loudly. People of the gods, our challenge has come. Octavian's voice is very shocking. If it hadn't been for years of noble training since childhood, he would never have been able to do it, and his gestures revealed an aristocratic temperament. Below, it was densely packed with candidates from the Great Eagle Kingdom, Fuzang Kingdom, and other small countries. He knelt down and kowtowed devoutly to Octavian. Mr. Octavian, please give us instructions. Octavian said with firm eyes. The first wave of shock is nothing more than a trivial matter to our strength. The key point is to play with momentum and style, and use our strength to shatter the courage of the chosen ones in Daxia. Clap 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 clap. Haven't waited for everyone to speak. Aloud, the applause suddenly sounded from under the high platform. Well said. I saw a big blonde man with a slanderous face, who did not know when he broke into the venue, and went directly in front of Octavian. I saw that his body was covered with hideous wounds, but he seemed to be full of fighting spirit. I bowed to Octavian. Dear Mr. Octavian, you are simply a god, and you are the lighthouse leading our Great Britain Union forward. Every word of yours reveals unparalleled wisdom. It was such a nasty compliment. All the people present couldn't help but get goosebumps all over the floor, and it was very uncomfortable. Spino, you liar. At this moment, Noguchi stood up suddenly, grabbed Jack by the collar, and angrily reprimanded. You promised me that you would cooperate with Shenzi to kill Su Shu. Now that Shenzi has lost contact, and Su Shu is still alive, what happened? Hear this. Everyone looked at Jack with bad eyes. And Jack didn't have the slightest fear in his heart. This is called someone behind, don't panic. He calmly faced the accusations of others, and saluted Octavian calmly. Dear Mr. Octavian, although I have been recognized by the god of sophistry, I have always been regarded as a liar by everyone, but how have you been doing this for so long? Is there anything I have done that I am sorry for everyone? When did I take the initiative to hurt my comrades in arms? Quote. The moment the words fell, Jack quietly used own sophist talent sophist. And also used the psychological weakening of the C-level talent and the emotional enhancement of an E-level talent he owns. The 3 talents were stacked together, and Su Shu secretly used the desire of madness to bless him. The effect is full. Although the people present were stronger than him, they were still affected. Many people were lost in thought, and following Jack's train of thought, they found that he really didn't take the initiative to deceive everyone. Noguchi was also taken aback. I began to wonder if I blamed this guy wrongly. Among the crowd, only Octavian maintained a somewhat calm expression, looking coldly at Jack. The 2 villages near your village have been wiped out. Why does your village still exist? The implication. Did you take refuge in Daxia people? Octavian's mind was very sharp, and he grasped the key to the problem in an instant. Mr. Octavian. Jack's face was flushed. He secretly swallowed a lot of mental energy boosting drugs produced in the ground, driving the sophist talent to the extreme. Then he said hoarsely, "How can you doubt me like this? Even if you doubt my loyalty to Dayang, you can't doubt my loyalty to you." Talking. Click. He took off his shirt. Everyone was shocked. I saw that his upper body was densely covered with wounds, and even a few wounds had reached the point of fatal injuries. If he hadn't taken the repair medicine, he might have died long ago. This hideous injury immediately stunned everyone. I don't know what a ferocious battle Jack experienced before, and he barely survived. All of a sudden, everyone is a little touched. Octavian was also shocked. The Eagle Kingdom camp has always been divided and intriguing. Jack may be the first candidate who can contribute to the novice village in this way. Jack said hoarsely, "All the selected members of my 473 novice village resisted the Daxia people, but unfortunately the opponent led by Sushu was too strong, and in the end I was the only one who survived. How can you have the heart to doubt me like this?" Quote. Ahem. After speaking, he coughed and spat out 2 mouthfuls of blood. The effect is even fuller. The atmosphere is heightened to the extreme. Even if the hearts of the chosen aliens were made of stone, they were burned at this time. Give it a go. I couldn't bear it at first, feeling like a rabbit died and a fox was sad. If his own novice village was attacked so violently, would he spread the news like Jack with all his scars all over his body? This amazing willpower is worthy of admiration. Octavian's face was moved, and he slowly walked down the high platform, stroking Jack's face. Jack cried like a child being caressed by his mother. "Mr. Octavian. You. Knowing how cruel those Daxia people are, they not only attacked us, but also tortured and killed our comrades." "All right." Octavian patted his shoulder slowly, and quickly wanted to withdraw his hand. Extreme discomfort flashed in his eyes. "Nonsense. If you are hugged and gnawed by a 1.9-meter blonde rough man, you will feel bad too." But he found that he couldn't twitch, and was hugged even tighter by Jack. Jack cried loudly, "Mr. Octavian, our chosen ones of number 473 died for the Eagle Alliance, you have to avenge them." "Okay, revenge, definitely revenge." Octavian nodded repeatedly, trying desperately to withdraw his hand. "They must be buried richly." Jack continued howling. "Gorgeous burial, rich burial." Octavian looked at his palm covered with tears, snot and saliva, and was already considering whether to chop off the reborn one. Jack cried for a long time, and the extremely realistic acting made everyone present silent. Seeing this, Octavian coughed a few times and said, "This time, novice village number 473 has contributed to resisting Daxia's selection. In my opinion, let's transfer a few novice villages and let Jack lead them. I believe everyone is loyal to him." "Approved." Everyone nodded in unison. Octavian waved. Immediately, the heads of the elected persons of several villages came to Jack. "Don't cry, Mr. Jack. We will fight side by side with you from today on." Jack wiped away tears. "Okay, I must seek revenge from Sushu. If I can't kill him to avenge my brothers in 473 novice village, then my life is meaningless." Hearing this, Octavian's heart moved, and he quietly stepped forward and gave Jack a piece of equipment. Assassination Blade, Level 5 King Equipment. Effect. It can burst triple damage once, ignore defense, and shatter after use. ... Since you have this heart, this piece of equipment belongs to you. It is good. Jack took the equipment without saying a word, his face flashed with ecstasy and then turned into grief and indignation. The impression of other people present on him also changed greatly. Don't say anything else. Just because of this person's loyalty, other people feel that he can take advantage of him. No one noticed. Jack turned his back to wipe his tears, the corners of his mouth curled up quietly, and he sent a word to Sushu in his heart. "Master, what you said is indeed true, cheating is the easiest thing in the world." A word suddenly came from my heart. Ahem, work hard. As everyone knows, at this time, Dakion abroad, on the way of marching. Su Shu and a group of candidates from the Great Summer are watching Jack's performance live through the link between Su Shu and the arms. Ha 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 ha. Lin Jia and Lu Feng were already rolling with laughter. A lot of people beside him were already laughing and hugging their stomachs, completely speechless. That's, boss, this person is a talent. This line is too complicated, it's really convincing. Octavian was limped by him just like that, and even offered a king's equipment. I think this central district is going to be ruined by the boss. Ha ha ha, I really laughed to death. Su Shu almost couldn't hold back, and it took him a long time to suppress it. Cough cough, coughed. We can't take it lightly, the frontier is the territory of the kingdom of beasts. Yes, boss, everyone hurriedly looked forward. It was suddenly discovered that various herds of beasts had gradually begun to appear on the land in front of them. The spiritual intelligence of these fierce beasts is quite high. It has been possible to plant towering giant trees together to form a city composed of giant trees, and every kind of beasts form settlements and gather together. At this time, discovered that there are humans coming. The young and strong beasts in the tribe rushed out immediately, baring their teeth at the army. Baikyu Library. But Su Shu was not used to it, so he waved his hand. Swish. All the way the army rushed over and strangled the few small beast tribes in front of them. All the corpses were put into the storage space. He ordered lightly. Where you pass, no grass will grow, no chickens or dogs will stay, you understand what I mean? Understand. Hundreds of candidates from Qianlong village responded in unison. Boom boom boom. The army continued to move forward, and no beast could leave alive wherever it passed. Not for a while. Su Shu collected the corpses of tens of thousands of beasts and stored them in the storage space of each selected person. But these ferocious beasts are not war beasts, and their combat strength is uneven, not as exciting as the previous attack. But at this moment, a large turbulent wave suddenly appeared in front of him. Wherever it went, it left a dense claw mark. Everyone clearly saw that it was not the tide, but giant wolves running wildly. These giant wolves saw that the tribe was destroyed. Their eyes were bloodshot, and they watched the expressions of the chosen ones in Qianlong village, as if they wanted to eat them alive. Su Shu didn't panic at all, and waved his hand calmly. Wonkai, it's your turn. Call. A gust of wind blows. The corner of Su Shu's mouth twitched, and he waved his hand several times, but he didn't even see half of the wolf. Only the breeze blows across the grassland. The scene was once very embarrassing. The selected candidates in Qianlong village all had a bit of embarrassment on their faces, wanting to laugh and sometimes not daring to laugh. This thing. A trace of anger slid across the corner of Su Shu's forehead, and he waved his hands and used his authority to forcefully drag Wonkai out of the corner. Wonkai shouted desperately, turned his head and hid behind Su Shu, as if there was something among the wolves in front that made him extremely afraid. Su Shu got up and slapped Wonkai with the terrified look of a husky looking back. You are a wolf king anyway, can you show your domineering and arrogance a little bit? Why are you so useless? The tone is very hateful. At this time, a wolf howled in the distance. 10,000 wolves echoed. The clear sky seemed to be shattered, and the sound waves visible to the naked eye shattered the clouds and spread to everyone's eardrums, making everyone's hearts beat wildly. Su Shu raised his head instantly, staring at the front with cold eyes. I saw a giant wolf with a size of 30 meters slowly climbing up from behind the hill. The whole body was covered with extremely intense pure white light, and even golden thorns grew on the forehead, minions, and limbs. The mane flutters in the wind like a war robe. Only the eyes are pure blood red. Contains anger against heaven and earth. Wherever this giant wolf passed, the pack of wolves lowered their heads and howled loudly, expressing their submission. And within 100 meters of its body, from time to time, there will be traces of electric light filling the air, destroying it. A line of data popped up in front of Su Shu. Wolf Emperor, legendary beast. Level 20. Power 210. Agility 230. Constitution 200. Mental energy 8,000. Skill Level 3 legendary skill Annihilation. The Wolf Emperor is so powerful that the space can't bear its power. Every attack he makes has a 5% chance of breaking the space. After the space is broken, it will cause mental energy equal to avoid damage. Level 4 Skill Wolf Emperor. He has jurisdiction over the Wolf King, Wolf Emperor, and other wolves, and all wolves have a 50% possibility of submitting to each other. Level 4 Skill Moonlight Vitality. Combat power increases by 50% at night. Combat rating: 20 stars. Note: a level 20 legendary creature, the King of Beasts in the Longevity Kingdom, has extremely powerful combat power, and those selected in the central area cannot start the challenge rashly. After reading the data, Su Shu instantly understood. Wonkai might have been frightened by the Wolf Emperor. But isn't this guy always fearless? This Wolf Emperor is already a legendary creature, much stronger than the King-level Wolf King and Wolf Emperor, and is the most powerful beast in the kingdom of 10,000 beasts, which makes his heart very hot. He urged Wonkai sharply. Hurry up and go, I met your family, what the hell are you afraid of? I'm here. Wow, Wonkai still hid behind Su Shu. No matter how hard he pulled, he couldn't get out. This made Su Shu puzzled. But then, behind the Wolf Emperor, who was 30 meters tall, several beautiful female wolves with golden hair, blue hair and purple hair appeared slowly. Seeing Wonkai's Setsuna, the eyes of the several female wolves flashed with joy for a moment, and they rushed towards Wonkai impressively. Ah! The cry of joyful wolves resounded across the battlefield. All of a sudden, whether it was the people in Qianlong village or the wolves under the Wolf Emperor, they were a little confused. Only the mouth corners of Wolf Emperor and Su Shu twitched. Prosperity. Su Shu's face darkened instantly. Oh! Wonkai ran out without saying a word. Su Shu used his authority to drag him back again, but he still hid behind Su Shu, unwilling to see those female wolves. Su Shu's face was gloomy. This guy is not afraid anymore. She's so cowardly when she sees a female wolf, no wonder she's been so hypocritical recently. Su Shu couldn't figure it out. This guy is so cowardly, why is he so popular with female wolves? As the Wolf King, he became the Wolf Emperor's she-wolf, became the Wolf Queen, and became the Wolf Emperor's she-wolf. Better than Sao Mang Sao Mang. After those female wolves rushed up, they licked shamelessly around Wonkai frantically, not even sparing his crotch. Wonkai shed tears of regret. He shook his head frantically at Su Shu, as if to say, "Boss, I really don't have a single drop left." He desperately wanted to hide from Su Shu, but was dragged back by the hungry female wolves. The wolves have always had no sense of shame. But the Wolf Emperor's concubine is in front of the public, so flattering the enemy wolf. This scene, the tens of thousands of wolves all over the mountains and plains were at a loss. The boss is being greened. At this time, I do it myself. It seems that I don't give the boss a face, and it doesn't seem right to not do it. All the wolves fell into anxiety. A crisis never imagined. The Wolf Emperor's face was extremely gloomy, his eyes were even more blood-red, he bent his limbs, and kept making low growls that shook the sky. And the female wolves surrounding Wonkai in front of him just coldly glanced at him a few times. It seems to say, a beautiful wolf is only for the strong. Just continue to lick Wonkai. What kind of powerhouse is it? The Wolf Emperor was completely furious. But soon a few female wolves rushed up behind him and licked the Wolf Emperor. When the Wolf Emperor looked back, he felt relieved. Fortunately, it has many concubines, only a few of them betrayed. There are still a few concubines left who are loyal to him. The result the next moment. Its face changed suddenly, and after the female wolves licked it, they walked towards Wonkai slowly with a look of pity, and buried their heads between Wonkai's hind legs. Ah! A terrifying wolf howl of extreme anger came out loud. Now it's not just all wolves. Even the candidates from Qianlong village on the opposite side looked at the Wolf Emperor with a bit of pity when they saw this scene. The boss wolf really took this Wolf Emperor NTR to the extreme. Hey, I can't watch it as a pure god of war lover. A wolf who is the boss can be so arrogant. Su Shu looked at Wonkai, who was surrounded by a pack of female wolves. Sigh. He also has some aftertaste now. He vaguely remembered killing so many wolves, and only the Wolf King of Hehe Wonkai broke out the Wolf King's heart, as proof of a leapfrog kill. It shows that the Wolf King was promoted to the Wolf King step by killing other ferocious beasts before, and even received the blessing of thunder forever. Maybe This is a very strong attribute in the judgment of the battlefield, which makes Wonkai so popular with other female wolves. In the future, the product of Wonkai may really play a big role if it is not done well. He stepped forward slowly. He raised the sword in his hand and pointed at the Mekong Wolf Emperor in front of him. The second time he greened others, Su Shu also gained experience, and swung a Wukong blade directly at Mekong Wolf Emperor. Swish! The knife light restricts its movements in all directions. Then raised the magic knife and chopped it up. There is nothing to say about this kind of life and death enmity. However, Mekong Wolf Emperor dodged lightly, not targeting Su Shu, but staring at Wonkai in front of him all the time. Seeing that Wonkai couldn't escape, his eyes finally became sharper, and he stared at the Wolf Emperor in front of him. Enjoy the licking of the female wolves with peace of mind. Woohoo! Mekong Wolf Emperor couldn't bear it anymore. Break open the void blade. Without further ado, he rushed towards Wonkai. Wonkai was not to be outdone, and while having with the she-wolves, he suddenly stood up, opened his thick wolf teeth and roared. Seeing this, Su Shu didn't help either. I want to see how much combat power this guy Wonkai can play when he is serious. You must know that the Wolf Emperor is stronger than it by 7 stars. Sure enough, not a few times. Wonkai was directly dug to the ground by the Wolf Emperor's paw, and a huge claw mark appeared on his body. But it didn't have the slightest fear, turned around and pounced on it without saying a word. Its stature was only a fraction of that of the Wolf Emperor. But he refused to give up and took the initiative to attack. This scene not only stunned the wolves, but also stunned the female wolf who was in heat next to her. So handsome. The faces of the female wolves were full of nympho looks, and the emotional potion of love was scattered all over the grass on their hind limbs. Sit down to ovulate. Knowing that he is invincible and dare to fight, this should be the most handsome among wolves. Su Shu was very speechless. Because at this time, Wonkai's cry for help was constantly coming from his heart. Boss, help me. Boss, I can't do it anymore. Oops, I'm going to die. Boss, do you really have the heart to watch such a cute little Wonkai die? Boss, I will never mess around again. ... I can't watch Wonkai really being caught to death by the Wolf Emperor. Su Shu turned around and threw a few Taoist talents at the Wolf Emperor, and then used a few deceitful talents. Then divide the magic knife into thin blades to help Wonkai. Now, Wonkai was finally able to fight back and forth with the Wolf Emperor, without being slapped to death with one paw. But it didn't take a few rounds. The Wolf Emperor patted Wonkai with his paw. Click. There was a cracking sound from nowhere, and a small black hole formed where the claw fell. Boom. The black hole exploded directly, sending Wonkai flying upside down, howling desperately. Annihilating the Wolf Emperor's natal skills. Su Shu knew it was time for him to act. If the Mekong Wolf Emperor with 20-star combat power hadn't been helped by Wonkai himself, this guy would have been killed in one move long ago. Lin Jia and others besides Su Shu waved their hands. Surround these wolves, and don't let any of them escape. Yes. Lin Jia nodded immediately. Su Shu swung his magic knife and slashed at it. Mekong Wolf Emperor turned around in an instant, biting Su Shu. And at this moment, after Wonkai was seriously injured, he was quickly surrounded by a group of female wolves gently, licking and rubbing, booing and asking for warmth. There were also a few female wolves baring their teeth viciously at Mekong Wolf Emperor. Mekong Wolf Emperor froze suddenly, stopped in place, staring blankly at this scene. A few tears fell from the huge wolf eyes. Break the defense. This is completely broken defense. Lin Jia and others couldn't bear to watch this scene. Awful. It's just too miserable. Biff's current crime is even more sad, which is a direct blow to the depths of the soul. The Wolf Emperor let Su Shu's magic knife slash on his body and did not move, as if his heart was dead. Baikyu Library. Su Shu couldn't bear to use the knife. He stepped forward and patted Mekong Wolf Emperor on the shoulder. Otherwise, you can submit to me and be a brother to Wonkai, and let him teach you how to pick up girls. Did not expect. A flash of determination flashed across the Mekong Wolf Emperor's eyes, and he suddenly sped up and rushed towards Su Shu's knife point. Pooh! The long knife pierced Mekong Wolf Emperor's head impressively. Its body slowly softened and fell to the side. A notification sound came from Su Shu's ear. You killed the legendary creature Mekong Wolf Emperor, and you will be rewarded with 30 killing points. You gain experience 1000. You have reached level 18. Su Shu was stunned. The chosen ones were also stunned. I didn't expect the character of the wolves to be so strong. After receiving such a heavy blow, seeing that he was defeated by Su Shu, he committed suicide directly. Maybe he answered that sentence. The Wolf Emperor. Heart is dead. Su Shu didn't even know what to say. But he knew that the pride of a wolf king was to control the opposite. After being so shamed and humiliated, if he couldn't get back his position, it would be better for this wolf emperor to die. Hey, why bother? Su Shu put the body of Mekong Wolf Emperor into the storage space. Looking back at Wonkai, this guy has almost been healed by the chosen ones, and now he is playing with the she-wolves alive and well. Death of the Wolf Emperor is worthless. Licking a dog is a terrible death, and the same is true for licking a wolf. Su Shu shook his head again. Wonkai did nothing wrong, the female wolves did nothing wrong, and the Wolf Emperor did nothing wrong, it was all due to nature. After all, as a male, you really shouldn't pin your hopes on a female, otherwise such a death is simply too meaningless. Isn't it good to live freely? Get over here. Su Shu waved his hand, and Wonkai immediately left the female wolves behind and ran over. The wolves from outside were almost slaughtered, and all their corpses were piled up near Su Shu, forming a mountain of wolves. Su Shu continued to synthesize the corpses of the wolves into the storage space, from the head wolf to the wolf king, and finally synthesized a total of 10 wolf kings. Together with the corpse of Mekong Wolf Emperor, they will all be synthesized with Wonkai. Swish! Milky white brilliance filled the sky, instantly penetrated the space. The golden Wonkai was completely dyed white at this time, and the rich light formed a huge cocoon shell, wrapping it tightly. A notification sound came from Su Shu's ear. The target unit is undergoing key evolution, time required, 1 day. Key evolution. Su Shu suddenly became interested. Wonkai is a guy who only eats but doesn't eat. Is he finally going to play a little role today? It seems that the characteristic on it is not in vain. He waved his hand and said to everyone outside, set up camp and stay here for a day. Anyway, our goal is to destroy the kingdom of 10,000 beasts, come and kill as many as you want. Yes, all the chosen ones took orders together, and led the troops to garrison in the 4 directions of the vast grassland. The chosen ones of Qianlong village were stationed in the hinterland of 10,000 beasts just like that. Anyway, following the boss is arrogant. Immediately afterwards, Zhao Yun suddenly appeared from afar, bowed to Su Shu and said, "My lord, the natural enemy's nest has been wiped out, and this is the trophy won by the soldiers." After speaking, he handed Su Shu a large pile of corpses of ancient strange beasts. At the same time, a system prompt sounded in Su Shu's ear. King's Bloodline Mission. Nest of Natural Enemies, completed. You have obtained a Bloodline Promotion Crystal 1. Bloodline Promotion Crystal. Effect. After use, the blood concentration level in the body will be increased by 1. Blood vessels below level B are available. Is this mission finally over? Su Shu looked at a pile of dead beasts in front of him. Only then did I remember. I ordered Zhao Yun to carry out a king-level task before, and Zhao Yun was summoned back by myself, but those tigers and leopards are still faithfully carrying out this task, and now it is finally finished. Doesn't that mean own blood can continue to break through again? Su Shu patted Zhao Yun on the shoulder excitedly. Come on, work hard. Next year, my lord will marry you a wife. Really? Thank you, my lord. Zhao Yun left excitedly, walked a few steps and suddenly realized something was wrong, and muttered with a strange expression, "Will you marry me a wife?" After Zhao Yun left, Su Shu first disassembled all the piles of ancient beast corpses, and then synthesized the obtained blood crystals together. Ding, you have obtained the F-rank Changqi Bloodline Crystal. Imperial Fierce Beast Poor Bloodline. Blood Concentration. F grade. Bloodline Blessing. All resistance plus 15%, strength plus 25%, constitution plus 25%, strength growth rate plus 150%. Bloodline Skill. Level 3 Passive Skill, Reward Evil and Punish Good. Rewarding evil and punishing good. Damage to good targets plus 15%, damage to evil targets plus 10%. Blood Transformation. Transform into Changqi form, all attributes plus 10%, last for 10 minutes, cool down for 10 days. Note: Synthesizing other animal bloodlines can make this bloodline advanced. Su Shu looked at this F-rank poor bloodline. Like the Teodi bloodline, it is also the bloodline of the beast. But Su Shu thinks Changqi is not as easy to use as Teodi's blood. Because of this bloodline skill that rewards good and punishes evil, it is still necessary to determine the target. The target of good and evil is far inferior to Teodi's devouring skill, which directly has a chance to eat the opponent's attack. It can also be transformed into an own treatment. In contrast, immediate results. It seems that the bloodline of the same ancient beast has its strengths and weaknesses, especially after the fusion of humans. Su Shu shook his head with a sigh. Then directly synthesized this F-level Changqi bloodline with the Teodi bloodline. The Teodi bloodline was instantly promoted to F rank. Not enough. Su Shu still shook his head. He took out the bloodline promotion crystal rewarded by the system and used it. There was a prompt sound in the ear. Ding. Your ancient fierce beast gluttonous bloodline has been promoted to E rank. Primeval fierce beast gluttonous bloodline. Blood concentration. E grade. Bloodline blessing. All resistance plus 30%, strength plus 30%, constitution plus 30%, strength growth rate plus 200%. Bloodline skill. Level 4 passive skill, swallow. Swallow, there is an 8% chance to eat the energy attack of the opponent, transforming it into healing for own or recovering mental energy. Blood transformation. Transform into gluttonous state, increase all attributes by 15%, last for 10 minutes, cool down for 1 day. Note: synthesizing other animal bloodlines can make this bloodline continue to advance. This is too strong. Su Shu couldn't help but his eyes lit up. After the Teodi bloodline directly rushed to the E level, not only did it increase its own by 30%, and the skill Devour has also become a level 4 passive skill. There is an 8% probability of directly converting the opponent's attack into healing for own. What the hell is this heaven-defying bloodline skill? It can be said that the difficulty of killing Su Shu is extremely high. Unless there is an opponent who is dozens of stars stronger than him, and directly swings a piece of damage that can instantly kill Su Shu. Otherwise, within the same rank, Su Shu cannot be said to be absolutely invincible, but he is absolutely immortal. After the bloodline was promoted, Su Shu's combat power also skyrocketed to 23 stars, directly increasing his combat power by 2 stars. This talent who can predict tasks is simply too awesome, it's like a wishing machine. Su Shu couldn't help thinking in his heart, the B-level talent is already a bit of a cheat, and this B-level talent is even more cheating. The last time I got 5,000 points of mental energy, I directly let myself predict a king task. Now his mental energy has risen to 10,000 points, I don't know. Dao can predict how strong the task is. But Su Shu did not rush to make predictions at this time. Now it is not within the range covered by the good fortune arc, and the recovery of mental energy is not so fast. If you encounter a strong enemy without mental energy, then send it. It's not too late to predict after going back. Soon, Lin Jia sent someone to investigate and returned to report to Su Shu. Boss has already found out that there are about 100,000 beasts in the kingdom of 10,000 beasts, divided into birds and beasts and scaled and armored ones. Among them, the birds are the most powerful, and now they are in charge of the 10,000 beasts kingdom. The armored scales are next, and the weakest are the beasts. Now we are invading the territory of beasts, and the strongest wolf emperor has been killed by you. Oh, good. Su Shu nodded after listening. My heart suddenly became hot. Hundreds of thousands of beasts. How much source fire can be decomposed? Others killing 100 beasts might only burst out a few pieces of source fire, but you can directly decompose it. Maybe it's almost enough to make the other 2 legendary blueprints by myself. At the moment, the origin of these tens of thousands of beasts was quickly synthesized by Su Shu. Coupled with the fact that the army of the Chosen Ones is constantly besieging and suppressing other beasts, it continuously provides Su Shu with a source of fire. At this time, Su Shu was just about to take out the source fires stored in the storage space and count them to see how many there are. When I reached out my hand, it was empty. Su Shu instantly became alert. Immediately probed the divine sense into the storage space, but found that the place where the source fire was stored was empty. It was discovered that not only the source of the previous killing of the blue whale was gone. Even the few B-level source fires that had just fused disappeared. His scalp suddenly went numb. Could it be that there is a person with a stealing talent lurking beside him, who can steal things from other people's storage space? It's unscientific. Do you care about the battlefield? This kind of talent is at least SS level. However, the next moment, Su Shu saw a sneaky phantom in the corner of the storage space. Whoosh flickered past. Taking advantage of Su Shu's inattention, it smashed the last source fire and merged into itself. Chiao. Su Shu immediately grew grass, and immediately used divine sense to take out the item. Finally found you, dare to steal my source fire. Su Shu was very angry. The source fire that has been accumulated for so long has been secretly swallowed by this thing. Hold this phantom in the palm of your hand. Su Shu was stunned for a moment. It was the tip of the spear, which was greedily absorbing the last half of the B-level source fire. At this time, the stolen goods were taken away, and it was firmly held between Su Shu's two fingers, unable to move. The energy transformed by the source fire ignited a trace of red light in its center, as if it was repairing itself. Okay, you have learned to steal it by yourself. Su Shu's face flushed instantly with anger. Those original fires were originally intended to be used by him to restore Kunyu. After all, Kunyu might be related to the life and death of his parents. Baikyu Library. In the end, he was taken a step ahead by the tip of the spear, cutting first and playing later. He was so angry that he wanted to use the magic knife to smash the half of the spear point completely. Dare to steal daddy's stuff, at worst it will ruin you, spit it out for daddy. Bang! As a result, the magic knife collided with the half of the spear tip, and it shattered into a pile of fragments, flying in midair, and it took a long time for it to automatically assemble. The trace of intelligence in the magic knife seemed to feel a great fear, and it trembled in Su Shu's hand. He didn't even dare to get close to the tip of the gun. Su Shu immediately sensed something was wrong. Could it be that the tip of this spear is really some ancient relic with a great background? How can even a legendary weapon like the magic knife tremble from being shocked by it just by touching it? And this guy has swallowed so much source fire, there must be some movement. Really? Just after the tip of the spear digested the last half of the B-level source fire, it wobbled as if belching, and the red light became a little stronger. Suddenly, a notification sound came from Su Shu's ear. Ancient Relic Repair Rate plus 0.1%. Activate the A-level effect Tillian Slaughter. Tillian Slaughter. Special Effect 1. For every 10,000 creatures slaughtered, the damage increase will be increased by 1%. Special Effect 2. For every 100,000 creatures slaughtered, all attributes will be increased by 1%. Special Effect 3. For every 1 million creatures slaughtered, a ray of God-killing spear will be provided SSS level damage. Special Effect 4. For every 10 million creatures slaughtered, 3 wisps of God-killing guns will be provided SSS level damage. Special Effect 5. For every 100 million creatures slaughtered, it will provide repair speed plus 1%. Note: the minimum requirements for creatures are acquired intelligent creatures, with a minimum of 3-star combat power. I go. When Su Shu saw this effect, his first reaction was not shock, but feeling. I got a little familiar with it. Millions of slaughter. This name is very suitable for own taste. What Su Shu likes most is killing, endless killing. He looked at the tip of the spear. After the tip of the spear swallowed the source fire and evolved, it stopped moving, as if it was a dead object. Swallow the source fire by yourself, and then pretend to be dead. Su Shu was speechless. In addition to the previous innate killing intent effect, this product activated another A-level effect. And this A-level effect is too powerful. As long as every 10,000 creatures are slaughtered, it can provide a 1% increase in damage to itself. No wonder it's called a million billion slaughter. What made Su Shu even more ecstatic was when the number of creatures he killed reached 1 million. This ancient relic will also provide itself with a ray of God-killing spear light. SSS level damage. Su Shu doesn't know exactly what the God-killing spear light is. But he knows, something that can be rated as SSS level damage by the battlefield must be extremely strong. The strange behavior of this ancient relic also alerted Su Shu in his heart. Swallowing the source fire by itself, and awakening an effect called trillions of massacres. Explain that this ancient relic is to remind yourself. Let yourself kill more creatures. Seems like it can be repaired just by killing a living thing. This must be a big killer in ancient times. The last effect reminded Su Shu that as long as the number of killed creatures reaches 100 million, the repair speed of this ancient relic can be increased by 1%. In other words, as long as Su Shu slaughtered tens of billions of souls, he could directly restore this ancient relic. 10 billion living beings. Su Shu wasn't timid at all, but a little excited. He pinched his chin and began to think carefully. It's really not that easy to find tens of billions of creatures with combat power above 3 stars. It is estimated that all the living beings in several countries in the central area will be killed, which will only look like a few million. If you really want to kill tens of billions of creatures, you have to wait until the stage of opening up the large area. Thinking of the power of this ancient relic after it was unlocked, Su Shu's heart trembled with excitement. Kill. Must kill. Kill as many creatures as possible to make yourself a real Zeon. For the sake of your powerful effect, let's forget about swallowing the source fire privately this time. Although he was ecstatic in his heart, Su Shu still put away the half of the spear tip in a nonchalant manner. I found a mezzanine to place alone, to prevent it from swallowing other source fires without permission. Another piece of data suddenly appeared on the tip of the gun. Slaughtered creatures, 34,438. Su Shu hesitated for a moment. It shows that so far, the number of creatures he has slaughtered has reached more than 30,000. As long as he wears this spear point on his body, the lethality will automatically increase by 3%, which also makes his own combat power take a few steps towards 25 stars. After putting away the gun point, Su Shu raised his head and looked into the distance, and found that the pure white cocoon that Wonkai had turned into had completely solidified, and something terrible seemed to be brewing in it. He didn't pay attention to Wonkai anymore. Instead, they keep sending troops out to strangle all kinds of beasts. Soon, all the ferocious beasts of the 10,000 Beasts Kingdom were strangled by Su Shu, and he made several B-level source fires again. Under the effect of the tip of the gun, his lethality increased again by 2%. The effect of this ancient relic is really fierce. As long as it is killed, it will become stronger. Su Shu was ecstatic in his heart. At this time, boom boom boom, hum, suddenly, a large black cloud appeared in the sky, densely packed with traces of various colors, accompanied by lightning flashes. There was also a sound like an earthquake on the ground. All of a sudden, the sky and the earth changed color, and the sun and the moon dimmed. The expressions of the candidates in Qianlong village suddenly became serious, staring at the front. Gradually, the dark cloud ahead shrank a little. Everyone finally saw clearly that it was not a dark cloud, but a large group of weird dragons with fleshy wings, making ugly noises and roaring at the humans below. And the ones attacking right in front were also a large group of earth dragons, who grew into various strange shapes and were covered in scales. There are also fierce beasts such as giant pythons and lizards. Roar, hiss. There was a gloomy animal cry in this horror, which made everyone's eardrums vibrate a little. Tens of thousands of scaled and armored beasts suddenly appeared in front of the army. Everyone is on standby, and Su Shu also turned his gaze to the sky, and saw a pterosaur in the sky with huge wings, covered with dark red scales, golden vertical pupils, flowing like magma, quietly staring at Su Shu below. Baikyu Library. Wrath-Winged Dragon, Legendary Beast. 22 levels. Combat rating, 25 stars. Note: the scaled and armored king of the Beast Kingdom is extremely dangerous, please evacuate quickly. After reading this line of data, Su Shu's heart tightened suddenly. I didn't look for it, but it came to me instead. The scaled and armored king of the 10,000 Beast Kingdom, the Angry Winged Dragon. It is also the second most powerful beast in the 10,000 Beasts Kingdom, with a combat power of 25 stars, 1 star stronger than the current Su Shu. No way. The legendary mission in the central area is so terrifying, the difficulty is so high that it is unimaginable, it is impossible to clear it alone. Under normal conditions, if all the powerful chosen ones in the central area gather together, it may be possible to clear it. Even if Su Shu's strength is already so strong, it is still very difficult for one person to clear the legendary mission in the central area alone. However, Su Shu didn't have the slightest bit of fear. A sneer flashed across the corner of his mouth. With a wave call, a crowd of 1,000 good fortune quickly appeared in front of Su Shu. The black-haired, black-clothed, handsome-faced young man seemed to be carved out of the same mold. Zhao Yun, who has been promoted to level 20 and has 18-star combat power, also suddenly appeared. The gun is like a dragon. Swish! The phoenix spear in his hand danced a splendid spear flower, forcing many soaring dragons in the sky to retreat a few steps, and the giant pythons and earth dragons on the ground could not help but retreat one after another. Changshan Zhao Zilong is here, who dares to hurt my lord? Zhao Yun roared loudly, with overwhelming momentum. At the time of this real battle, the lazy witch was not idle, and soon appeared on the battlefield. Following the army to gain experience, she also rose to level 18. Now her combat power is 16 stars, and her control ability is stronger than before. The appearance of these two Su Shu units made the earth dragon beasts in the sky and underground frighten them back again and again. But the angry pterosaur in the middle of the sky did not waver at all. The cold vertical pupils just glanced at Zhao Yun and the lazy witch, and then continued to look at Su Shu. It seems that only Su Shu is worthy of being its enemy. Su Shu stood up slowly. Feeling the completely different aura of the wrath-winged dragon and the wolf emperor, the scaled and armored genus is a cold-blooded animal without any emotion at all. Avatar. Su Shu gave an order first, and all the 1,000 good fortunes turned into their own appearances. Qianlong Village's selection. Seeing this scene, the audience were all shocked. Boss is about to exert his strength. Look. Boss is going to get serious this time. Terrifying, it's simply too terrifying. This unit has 1,000 clones. Glutton bloodline. Then Su Shu activated the second ability. The body suddenly turned into a gluttonous appearance, and he raised his head to the sky and roared. Roar. The sound was like thunder. The deterrent power of this ancient beast immediately caused the scaled and armored beasts to feel a little fear of Su Shu from the depths of their blood. Same. Thousands of good fortune crowds immediately turned into gluttonous appearances. 1,001 gluttons suddenly appeared on the battlefield. This shock is simply indescribable. Now that Su Shu's bloodline has improved, even the gluttonous strength transformed by the good fortune has also increased by a few points. Su Shu didn't hesitate. The next step is to activate the witch physique. Witch clan physique. Boom. In an instant, Su Shu himself turned into a gigantic beast nearly 200 meters tall. And the smallest size of Good Fortune's members has reached tens of meters, instantly crushing many fierce beasts outside in terms of size. The battlefield instantly became a paradise for giant beasts. The ferocious-looking beasts from the outside were not much different from the little sheep all of a sudden, and their bodies couldn't help shaking. Thousands of giant gluttonous beasts moved forward slowly. Boom boom boom. The ground shook. Whoosh. The body soared into the air, looking down at the tens of thousands of scaled and armored beasts below. And Su Shu didn't stop either. Faintly activated another skill. Thousands of mountains and birds fly. Swish. Just Setsuna. 100 phantoms with 5% of Su Shu's strength appeared in the sky. That huge figure seemed to crush the sky and tremble a little. Even if the phantom transformed by this skill is only 5% of Su Shu's strength, it is equivalent to many ordinary good fortunes. It can be said, now Su Shu alone is equivalent to an entire army. Baikyu Library. What's more, at the next moment, thousands of good fortunes also activated Chinchaniafeiju, and the effect was only Su Shu's 5%. Each good fortune crowdfunds 5 phantoms. The good fortune crowd, which was originally only 1,000 people, turned into an army of 5,000 in an instant. 5,000 gluttonous army. The selected candidates of Qianlong village saw their jaws drop to the ground. Is this going back to ancient times? The aroma of roasted chins on the ground can be smelled everywhere in the grassland. Isn't it? Boss's trick has evolved again. This infinite shadow clone, my childhood is back. The most amazing thing is that the shadow clone of the boss actually has his own strength. What kind of cheating ability is this? A person is a country. The candidates of Qianlong village suddenly felt that they really couldn't help Su Shu. Apart from tidying up the battlefield and doing small things, Su Shu can almost do it all by himself. In the sky, the angry pterosaur's eyes widened, and his whole body was trembling. It is self-evident how deterrent these 5,000 gluttonous beasts are to the vicious beasts and alien races. It's just that the legendary beast and its own powerful strength made it resist and not turn around and run away. Hiss. Su Shu, who turned into a glutton, slowly rubbed his 4 claws on the ground, and let out a dull voice, "Kill." Roar, roar, roar. The 5,000 gluttonous gluttons could no longer hold back, and rushed towards the fierce beasts in the sky. In just an instant, the fighting spirit of the ferocious beasts was completely broken, and they frantically prepared to flee outwards. And Su Shu was not the other chosen ones, and there was no room for the beast to escape at all. The phantom that Qinshan Niafeju turned into was super powerful in the first blow, and it could kill a beast that was stronger than itself in just one hit. Although the blood volume is much lower than that of good fortune, but the number is enough. Swish. In just an instant, the tens of thousands of beasts were emptied out of a large area. Roar. The angry pterosaur in the sky let out a roar, and a raging flame spewed out from its mouth, burning thousands of phantoms to death. And Su Shu has already soared into the sky. Swish. Teodi swung its huge claws, and with just one claw, it left deep claw marks on the chest of the wrath-winged dragon. The wrath-winged dragon's eyes widened, staring at Su Shu in front of him. Unbelievable. An opponent whose strength is so much lower than his own can explode such terrifying combat power. Empty condensation. Blade of no void. Su Shu activated the B-level talent condensation and the void blade in an instant. With 2 powerful forces of time and space, the restrained Rathalon was unable to move its body as it swayed wildly in the sky. And Teodi has already flew up to the back of the wrath-winged dragon, tearing at his flesh and blood. Within a few minutes, the back of the angry pterodactyl has revealed thick bones. Not to be outdone, the wrath-winged dragon turned its head, and a raging flame sprayed towards Su Shu. The attack power contained in the flames was extremely powerful, and it was not a physical attack. Su Shu's hardened skin did not take effect, and the claw directly sprayed by the flames turned into a white bone. Swish. Su Shu returned to the ground. The wrath-worm lost Su Shu's trace and searched around furiously. Once on the ground, Su Shu's injury quickly began to repair. The body of the earth is activated. It returned to its original state in a few seconds. As expected of a 25-star combat power, it is indeed powerful. A cold light shot out from Su Shu's eyes. Combined with Teodi's appearance, it looks even more hairy. This legendary task has reached this level of difficulty, needless to say how rich the rewards will be. Not only was Su Shu not afraid, but he became ecstatic. Only by facing powerful enemies can you continue to advance, promote crazily, leave everyone far behind, until you reach the top of the gods. The angry pterosaur saw this. Instead, the flames in his mouth sprayed towards his back, which had turned into white bones. And the weird thing is, within a few minutes, the bones that had been sprayed by the flames grew flesh and blood again. Immediately afterwards, its claws were suddenly covered with a layer of magic flames, and it rushed towards Su Shu viciously. This blow from the sky was so powerful that it almost shattered the space. If Su Shu hadn't dodged, he would have been seriously injured. And at this moment, sink, a sound came with a bit of coquettish reprimand. There was no smile on Mavis's face at this moment. Impressively rose to the sky. Both hands waved a large piece of Crimson's magic power, enveloping the wrath-winged dragon tightly, causing the wrath-winged dragon's eyelids to close from time to time, and then opened desperately, extremely sleepy. But after a few seconds, there was a huge gap in combat power between the wrath-winged dragon, and Mavis slowly retreated, lying on the ground and turning into a salted fish. "Master, I'm sorry, I can't control this big guy, it's too strong. Back. Go wait for a spanking." Quote. Su Shu snorted coldly, and his injuries were fully recovered. Under the influence of Mavis, the wrath-winged dragon still slowed down a bit. This strike had no chance of hitting Su Shu, instead it directly hit a deep crater like a meteorite on the grassland. Roar. Teodi roared at the angry pterosaur, revealing its thick fangs that were several meters long, and the angry pterosaur also responded with magma-like dragon flames at Teodi. Roar. The 2 ferocious beasts fought on the ground like this. Occasionally, the wrath wyvern would fly high, cruising in the sky looking for a chance to strike Su Shu a fatal blow. The selected candidates of Qianlong village did not let down their vigilance, and continued to release various talent skills on the ground to interfere with the angry pterosaur. Although the gap in combat power is too large, the effect is minimal. But to some extent, the behavior of the angry pterodactyl was affected a little. Even more miserable are the beasts outside. They were driven away by the good fortune people and fled around, and then bumped back abruptly by the units of the chosen ones. There were heavy casualties, and the number was not as good as before. There were almost no casualties among the good fortune crowd, and everyone has been upgraded, and their combat power has increased again. They are about to rise to 10-star combat power. Roar. Seeing that its own kind was being slaughtered, the angry pterosaur was furious. He knows that if this continues, the final result will inevitably be his own defeat. It rose into the sky with a whoosh, and continuously spit out magic flames towards the air. This magic flame condensed into a fireball in the void, and under the continuous flying and breathing of the angry pterosaur, the fireball became bigger and bigger, as if destroying the sky. General destruction. He's going to amplify his moves. Su Shu's pupils dilated instantly. Shouted loudly. All the chosen ones in Qianlong village, retreat with your troops. Good fortune, retreat. Everyone hesitated for a moment, then all backed away. Only the Teodi transformed by Su Shu rushed towards the angry pterosaur that was constantly breathing fire in the sky. He hit the fireball the size of a mountain head on. Boom! There was a loud bang that pierced the sky. The heavenly devil flames swallowed Teodi in, and sparks burst out. Everyone looked back at this spectacular scene, and couldn't help but widen their eyes. The boss took the opponent's big move with his head. Fighting with 20-star doctor-level combat strength already has a bit of awe-inspiring momentum. The next moment, I saw that Teodi's muscles and bones were all broken, his muscles and bones were all burned by the magic flame, and he came out of the fireball. Hiss! The huge dragon's head bit the Fury Pterosaur's neck tightly, almost biting off the Fury Pterosaur's neck. Both sides have fallen into a lingering situation. Su Shu's cross-strength combat power kill was almost successful. At this time, a fierce cold light piercing the sky. Fierce gun lights shot out from behind the wrath-winged dragon overwhelmingly, piercing the wrath-winged dragon's body from the middle. Zheng. Zhao Yun. It's Zhao Yun. Everyone's eyes widened, and they finally breathed a sigh of relief. However, the fury-winged dragon, which had been hit so hard, was still recovering from its injuries with the help of the magic flame, and it jumped a few times after falling to the ground. A deep hole was smashed out of the ground, the rocks rolled, and then flew up again. Without saying a word, he turned and flew to the sky to escape. Ran. Everyone was stunned. The 25-star Rage Wyvern was beaten away by Su Shu. Zhao Yun, we must not let it escape. Teodi, who was recovering from his injuries on the ground, let out a loud roar. Subordinates understand. Without further ado, Zhao Yun pierced the clear sky with a sharp shot, and chased after the angry pterosaur. There are always good fortune people beside him blessing him with speed. After all, Zhao Yun's combat power is much lower than that of the wrath-winged dragon, and his speed is far less than that of the wrath-winged dragon. A sneer flashed across the vertical pupils of the angry pterosaur. Do you still want to challenge an existence stronger than yourself? When he recovers from his injuries, this human will die. At this time, wow, the sky was suddenly covered with dark clouds, and it seemed that it had entered the middle of the night, and an ancient and deep moon suddenly appeared in the clear sky. The sun blooms and the moon blooms. This weird celestial phenomenon makes people feel extremely strange. The world in everyone's eyes turned into pure white, only the crooked moon was left, releasing unparalleled white light. Wisps of moonlight slipped down from the sky, and the world seemed to become a paradise of moonlight. Under that bright moon, all people only see a huge and graceful figure leaning on crutches, as high as 100 meters, seemed to push open a pure white light gate from the end of the mountain, and slowly walked out from the light gate. That figure had a wolf's head and was holding a cane in his hand. Can't see clearly. It is pure white from the inside to the outside, which only makes people feel incomparably noble and incomparably divine. Wow! The huge pure white werewolf figure moved the scepter lightly. A pure white light shot out impressively. Penetrate the impressive body of the fleeing wrath-winged dragon in the sky again. Roar! The wrathful dragon let out a howl of extreme pain, and suddenly fell to the ground. Zhao Yun arrived quickly and stabbed out fiercely. Bang! Nailed its fleshy wings to a high mountain. River-like dragon blood flowed down from the high mountain, forming a wide blood river. At the same time, a notification sound came from Su Shu's ear. You surpassed the level and killed the legendary beast, Rage-Winged Dragon. The killing value is +100. Get 10,000 experience points, your level +1. You have obtained a new vocation. This region slaughtered a low-level dragon for the first time, and you have obtained a new vocation. You have obtained the legendary G-rank vocation, Dragon Slayer Warrior. Dragon Slayer Warrior, legendary slaughter voucher. Vocation level, G. Blessing of vocation. All attribute resistance +10%, all attribute growth +10%. Occupational skill, dragon slaying. Every time you slaughter a dragon, you will be bathed in dragon blood, your life value will increase, and you will receive the soul of the slaughtered dragon, which will be permanently driven. Characters of the vocation. The dragon's soul controlled by the envoy has the strongest strength in life, can use all skills in life, and is permanently in the state of soul binding, permanent immunity, and can be resurrected 7 days after death. Seeing the effect of this dragon-slaying warrior's vocation, Su Shu thought for a moment. Then suddenly remembered, since this dragon-slaying warrior's vocation, all effects are to kill dragons. Don't you happen to have a dragon hatching pool? Create your own dragon and kill yourself, unlimited life and dragon soul. He quickly took out the blueprint of the dragon hatching pool. It is found that the materials are basically gathered now, only one A-level source fire is missing. As long as the slaughter of beasts is continued, it can be gathered together. Using the dragon incubation pool to train yourself is a bounden duty. Wouldn't you want to grow yourself into a big blood cow? Su Shu's heart was filled with ecstasy. The next moment, looking up, what he saw was not elsewhere, but the place where the godlike wolf-headed giant was. After killing the wrath-winged dragon, the wolf-headed giant slowly turned around and placed the scepter in the middle of his body, looking solemn and dignified. The crescent moon seemed to reflect him and was born for him. Under the milky white moonlight all over the sky, only his shining red pupils made people feel a little holiness and admiration in their hearts. Since you see the gods, why don't you kowtow? His tone was thick to the extreme. This voice is directly transmitted to everyone's minds in the form of mental energy, and the thick voice flows in everyone's heart. On the silent grassland, the selected candidates of Qianlong village couldn't help being shocked by this scene. God, I'm going, there is actually a god in the kingdom of beasts. So strong, this is too strong. The wolf-headed man quietly waited for everyone to pay homage to him, with a solemn expression. Turning around slowly again, facing the falling crescent moon, he raised his hands high. Children of the beast race, submit to me. He waved his hand. All the beast clans in the 10,000 beasts kingdom surrounded them from all directions, bowed reverently to the werewolf man, and clapped their front paws to the ground. See this spectacular scene, Qianlong. The chosen ones in the village were even more stunned. Is it really a god? Just the posture that just appeared on the stage is completely enough. Just when they were about to bow down to worship the wolf-head god, there was only one figure, impressively rushed in 2 or 3 steps to the wolf-head god who was worshipped by everyone. He raised his hand involuntarily, snapped a slap hard on the head of the wolf-headed god. Ow! The wolf-headed god was photographed on the spot, and after a scream, he became furious and turned his head to look at the person who came. The result was a smile all over his face. The tongue sticks out, completely lacking the solemn look of a god before, showing the signature Erha expression. Master, you are here. After speaking, he got up and licked Su Shu's body. Snapped. Su Shu gave another slap with a cold face. It's all set up in front of me, you're capable. Won't you kneel when you see you? Snapped. Completely broke the divine body of the werewolf man, and turned into an extremely huge pure white wolf, which was 50 or 60 meters high, standing between the sky and the earth. But in front of Su Shu, who was over 100 meters tall, he was still terrified. Su Shu slapped the dog on the head with a slap followed by a slap. Snapped. It's grown up, isn't it? I pretended to your master as soon as I was born. Snapped. Why don't you just provoke pterosaurs when you are so awesome? Snapped. You are so awesome, don't let me wipe your ass. Ah. The giant wolf dodged repeatedly after being beaten, begging frantically for mercy. Master, I was wrong, don't fight, give some face, I was promoted to demigod just now. Snapped. A demigod, right, snapped. Giving face, right. Ah, ... The outsiders were all dumbfounded, watching this outrageous scene. I thought to myself that it's a good thing I didn't kneel just now, otherwise I would be so embarrassing. This dog, oh no, wolf, it's the Wonkai from before the boss. Immediately thinking about it in my heart, I was suddenly shocked. The boss's dog has become so handsome, this is definitely a gift from the gods. Su Shu gave this dead dog a tough lesson before he started to check its data. As soon as he entered the property panel, a prompt sound came from his ear. The concentration of the arms and godheads is complete. I have become the 289th orc demigod in this region. God position, first class. Demigod Wolf Emperor Epic Level Beast. Name, Wonkai, Godhead, God of Lust and Greedy Wolf. Level 1 0 100,000. Power, 200. Agility, 200. Constitution, 200. Mental energy, 8,000. Divinity Greedy Wolf. Super attractive to all opposite, in charge of the god of animal lust. Skill 1 Demigod's body. It can be transformed into a demigod's body. All attributes are increased by 100%, and damage received is reduced by 30%. Skill 2 Demigod Realm. Can summon the demigod realm, Greedy Curved Lanyu, all recovery in the realm plus 30%, and the realm can be used to attack. Skill 3 Infinite Lust. As the god in charge of beast lust, he is super attractive to the opposite. Every time he communicates with the opposite, he can randomly obtain the other party's abilities, attributes, skills. Skill 4 God of the Beast Race. As long as it is summoned, it can call the fierce beasts of the beast family within 30,000 miles to come and surrender. Combat rating, 20 stars. Note, the fierce beasts in this region are divided into a family of beasts, a family of scales and armor, and a family of birds. There is one Supreme Beast God, Divine Level, 12 Main Beast Gods, Legendary Level, and 289 Demigods, Epic Level. Note, you must have a Legendary Certificate to advance to the Epic rank. It's really a key evolution, this guy has become a god. After reading the data, Su Shu murmured and took a look at Wonkai. This guy really is a pervert. Even becoming a god became a beast race demigod in charge of lust. Owen's conjecture is also correct. This product has a legendary certificate, which is the basis for being promoted to a demigod, and it is indeed much more powerful than the average legendary. If the wolf Wonkai continues to be cultivated, he will definitely be able to reach the level of a god. Now its strength is also terrifying. Brother Shou didn't have to go out in person at all. As long as he waved his arms, the beasts within 30,000 miles nearby would automatically come to join him. And Su Shu also found out. Fierce beasts also have a temple of the highest level, which shows that there are not a few beast gods. And there is only one who can truly become the Lord God of the 12 beast races, or even the Supreme Beast God. Wonkai has a demigod foundation, maybe he can compete for the position of Supreme Beast God in the future. Just now, Wonkai's combat power after becoming a demigod has reached 20 stars. And because its level is cleared after being promoted to a demigod, this is only its level 1 combat power. In the future, the level will be gradually promoted. As a demigod epic beast, its real combat power will be quite terrifying. Su Shu also discovered the rules of the battlefield. All epic monsters have 20 stars in combat power when they start at level 1. And the combat power of the legendary level is 10 stars at the beginning of level 1. Just as Su Shu was thinking, a huge system notification sound came from the sky again. Selected. Anonymous, the first one in this region to obtain an epic level unit, the reward kill value plus 300. After the prompt sound came, the people in Qianlong village naturally knew what happened, while the other candidates in the central area were shocked by this reminder, and the channel had already started frantically swiping the screen. Epic level units. Even in the hands of the gods of various countries, there are not many epic level units. Pen Fun Library. Someone actually got it in the novice zone. Who is this person? Everyone is frantically posting messages asking who is the anonymous person who has obtained epic arms. And naturally there is no result. In the hinterland of the 10,000 beasts where Su Shu and the others are located, no novice village can detect this place. Boss, do you think I'm handsome now? I will definitely give you a long face in the future. Boss, don't be angry, I will definitely do less female beasts in the future. Oh, why do you still want to mess with humans? Su Shu said angrily. After Wang Kai was promoted to a demigod, his form could be changed at will, only the demigod's body remained unchanged. And the chatterbox attribute was completely released. As an epic level beast, it can already speak freely, which annoys Su Shu terribly, wishing to gag that dog's mouth. Wang Kai also turned into a khaki Shiba Inu, which looks cute and has no intimidating force, and follows Su Shu desperately to please him. Su Shu didn't forget that this guy also has the divinity of a god of lust. As the saying goes, the country is easy to change, but the nature is hard to change. After being able to become a demigod, he is indeed a lot more handsome. I'm afraid he will be even more rampant in the future, causing himself a lot of trouble. Think. To here, Su Shu couldn't help but brush off the thing between the khaki Shiba Inu's legs. Otherwise, still cut it. I just don't know if castrating a demigod will reduce its combat power. Wang Kai felt Su Shu's cold eyes looking between his legs, and suddenly clamped his legs tightly, looking at Su Shu in horror. Turning around, the hind limbs began to tremble, and gradually retreated. Boss, don't be impulsive. Boss, listen to me. In the future, I will really, absolutely never mess around. Boss, I'll help you kill the beast first. Su Shu coldly glanced at Wang Kai's fleeing figure. His eyes turned to the corpse of the angry pterodactyl. Swish. Baiku Library. With a wave of his hand, the body of the angry pterodactyl was directly decomposed. Successful decomposition. You get mental energy plus 2000 points, you get pterosaur meat, pterosaur bones, pterosaur skin. You got a level 4 legendary skill crystal, Dragon Flame, you got a level 4 skill crystal. You got a level 4 skill crystal. You get B level source fire 30. Hearing the decomposed thing, Su Shu couldn't help being ecstatic. It really is the coolest thing to kill with Vietnam's combat power. The attribute mental energy obtained by decomposing the wrath-winged dragon alone is a full 2000 points. His mental energy skyrocketed to 12,000. There are 3 level 4 skills, and 30 B level source fires were directly decomposed. As expected of a beast stronger than me, it decomposes so many good things. Su Shu couldn't help being ecstatic in his heart. Reach out and wave. Direct these 3. A level 4 skill, combined with the skill crystals exploded by other beasts into one. A dark red skill crystal suddenly appeared in front of him. Ding! You have obtained a level 5 legendary skill, and the demon soul is immortal. Magic soul is not extinct. Level 5 legendary skill. Effect. When your health drops to 5%, you will be forcibly immune to all damage for 100 seconds, and all attributes will increase by 100%, and your lethality will increase by 100%, and your health cannot be recovered within the duration. Ah, this skill. Su Shu looked at it, and was a little disappointed at first. This is to let myself continue to fight before dying. Useful, but Su Shu suddenly thought of something. Wave your hand to recruit one of the good fortunes, and make the other party look like own. Then without saying a word, he chopped off the heads of the good fortune crowd. Swish. Something weird happened. A dark red flame similar to that of the wrath-winged dragon suddenly ignited all over the good fortune crowd. He even got up and forcibly connected his own head to his body, and his combat power suddenly doubled. It lasted for a full 5 seconds before he fell to the ground and died. Sure enough, Su Shu's eyes brightened. He conveniently decomposed the corpse of this good fortune into a source fire. It's not so easy to die with own avatars and phantoms. Even if he is killed in one blow by the existence of Xeon, he can finally get up and pounce for 5 seconds. How many enemies can be killed in these 5 seconds? Su Shu exclaimed in his heart that he was very happy. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.